I just want to go to sleep, but I know I can't go to sleep, so I'm in the in-between fuckery.
You found it?
It's buried on a whole bunch of video games.
Imagine that. That's not the place you looked at first.
That I may be tired, man, because it was sitting there in front of my face. So that I'm trying to catch up on this, and this fucking Beast Titan he plays baseball and just throws them and kills them with boulder baseballs.
4K resolution when docked.
So sorry, you may want to turn off the TV so we don't get our DMCA strike.
Yeah, it started playing again. I was almost done with this episode, I think.
We're like those early YouTube people, where you could watch the video and then there's like something in the outside of the panel.
Let me get this going here.
That shit does have an OLED display. That would be nice.
I'm glad I checked it. Now I got an app update.
No, don't run it.
I have to. It's like my Windows update right here. It's like, you're about to reboot at some point. I was like, all right, we're going to gamble.
Yeah, I might as well. Damn, that's a big fucking screen. Are we going to talk about this one?
We could. It's another rumor. I mean, really. I mean, if
it'll also be old.
It'll
be old news by next week, though. Just think. So I'm going to post this. I'll try to get this up Friday because I won't have a chance this weekend.
Yeah, but this is nothing new, right? It's a 7-inch OLED, right? That's 4K ready. This is the stuff that they've been.
It's been rumored.
That that's what's his name from Wall Street Journal or something like that. The guy who does all the leaks for Sony in Japan.
This one's Bloomberg,
what's his
supposedly.
Name?
Supposedly.
Yeah. I think it's the same dude. What's his name? It's the same dude. He's the only one that's been talking about the Switch one. It don't matter. I don't.
Dean Takahashi, VentureBeat.
Yeah, that's
VentureBeat.
Him. Yeah. I don't know if it's VentureBeat or not. I know he does stuff on there.
He said something that had Twitter all fired up before. I've got 2 of his Xbox books. He wrote 2 in-depth OG or Xbox and 360 books.
I gotta look at the article. I can tell you if it's the same guy or not. What am I doing here? What was my last thing I was playing? Did I save?
We got our 1 viewer. Is our 2nd viewer up?
I'm in there.
I'm
our
1.
3rd? Okay, we got our 3.
I'm in there.
We got our 3 consistent ones. Thank you, crowd of 3. We can rely on you every week.
The 3 Musketeers.
Cesar said he's going to start streaming. He's excited. I'm excited for us.
Once I get all settled, I might be able to do that.
I said the same thing.
Get everything set up.
Oh, fucking hell.
I'm not going to wish that on you, Brant. Brant, we do have. I offered this to SSR2 because we all pitched in and bought this at one point. But
oh yeah, you told me about that.
So if you don't want to give that capture card you have a shot, if you feel like this fits the bill better, mine's a PCIe one, so pretty much anything 1080p related.
Watch your mouth.
Do what, Cesar?
Watch your mouth.
Pretty much anything
words,
1080p
language
related. I'm good to go and on my gaming PC here. Of course, Brant goes super size on me after I changed it. Powering up.
Hold on.
I'm like Mario with that Gigabell.
Wait for it.
I still only see 1, but that's just OBS. I don't think OBS reports correctly.
Probably not. It's OBS.
Yeah. Cesar, you heard Giant Bomb still uses OBS. It is what it is, man. It's the best. It's the best out there. Just you have to fight it.
You know, all that bullshit I watch on the YouTubes. I send you clips all the time. They all use OBS too. It is what it is.
It's there.
Like we bounce around with all these NDI sources, but when Brant and I did the
that one
Donkey Kong
with Donkey Kong,
it never messed with us.
It was fine.
Yeah. And my baseball one I did was fine too. Cesar, do you want to come up with a series for yours, or you just want to slap the logo on there and do whatever?
You know me, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want.
I'm okay with that.
Or what the heck I want.
Just slap the logo on there and go from there.
Because I sat there and I played like Ease Origin. I could have streamed all that.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I think the logo is in the Google Drive. Have y'all? I know I've got it saved a bunch of different places.
I don't know.
I'm thinking about reaching back out to Fiverr or somebody and doing a logo redesign. Would y'all be down for that?
Doesn't matter. That's up to you. I think it looks pretty good.
You're a fan?
What's the matter, Cesar?
I'm fucking around with some settings here.
Gotcha.
Ignore me. Do not look at the man behind the curtain.
The man in the beanie. Brant, you're not rocking your Infamous beanie. That must mean Infamous is not in games played this week.
No.
I'm wearing my Master Chief Under Armour, though, so clearly.
In fact, this is a... what is going on behind me is, man in the curtain-ish. Ready?
Go. Wait, what? Holy shit. I wouldn't even have known.
Just took a screenshot.
Yep.
Yeah. Well done.
Is that what it looks like now? You had to remove your effects?
Yeah, I went ahead. I started.
Wait, did you paint? Is that a different paint color?
No, it's the same paint.
Must be the lighting.
Yeah, but I mean, it's. That's the thing. I think I took it during the daytime too, so there might have been some sunlight coming through the back there.
Right.
Oh, but yeah, I started packing up a little bit more.
We are live, so
put away,
just keep in mind we're streaming. Whatever you okay.
Put away a bunch of the consoles, the PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Switch, and all that's still out, but everything else has been packed away, ready for the move. And moving date might be sooner than expected, so I'm getting excited.
Excellent. Offer still stands. Let one know, and I will bring with me as a housewarming gift one GE Pro Universal 4 device.
Still having a hard time getting rid of
soft
those.
finish. Wait, Cesar.
He's gonna be giving out for.
Wait, already. This is already a bit. Wait a minute. Brand, I got this specifically for you. There's not a bag of 8 of them.
No,
that might
absolutely not. We already know. Don't lie. We already know.
I started off with 10 and I whittled it down. And then I went back and got more.
You got down to 8. You got more.
I scanned it and I was like, wait, are these still $1? I might need these.
You never have enough remote.
Did y'all see the meme? And I've been cleaning up my basement and a bunch of boxes and stuff. But have you seen the meme with Bilbo, like where he's trying to get rid of the ring? And you see like him looking at it, and he's like, the next panel says, well, why shouldn't I have it? But in the meme, somebody has like a cord. It's just a random cord. And then in that panel, it's like, well, why shouldn't I keep it? I'm like, that's me. I might need this.
Yep.
Somebody's going to need this FireWire port to iPod at some point down the road. I have to hold on to this.
No, this is the same guy. Takashi Michizuki is the same guy who rumored it last year when he rumored it with the light.
Not Dean Takahashi. So this guy has an accurate track record as far as Switch hardware goes.
Yes, he hinted at the Switch Pro. So I guess this is just him coming with the specs that he didn't have before.
Hold on. Why don't we lead with that? That's an actual story. Let's lead with that. Let me record this. Hold on.
It's too late. The information's out there. It's wild.
I mean, it's out there, but it's where people never look, like YouTube or Twitch, live on Wednesday nights at 8-ish. It's 8:22. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 149 of the NOFODcast. We're almost halfway to 300, the magic number 300. Tonight, actually, we're going to lead off with a new Switch model rumor. Cesar's going to fill us in on that, I think. After that, we have your first state of play for 2021. New Pokemon games have been revealed. Brant snuck that one in. New Dragon Age pivots to single player from... It's kind of weird. Update your Wii U. That's all that's in that one. Take the battle to the Xenomorph as a fire team. Japan Studio restructures. Epic Games is buying The Fall Guys. Which costume, though? We'll find out later. March Xbox games with gold and your March PlayStation Plus titles are now available, and we'll compare one great list and one garbage list. I'm Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Brant McKee himself.
Great to be here, sir. I didn't even get to do much of the news. You did all that yourself.
I did some of the news. I had some downtime at some point, a little insomnia, as it were, and slapped some news together, and you finished it all for us. And of course, also here is Cesar Concepcion II.
I'm present and counted
Behind
for,
the curtain.
mostly. Do not pay attention to the man behind the
Cesar,
curtain.
lead us off. You have brought us breaking news, breaking rumor news, as it were, but still being reported by major outlets. Sir, tell us about that Switch model that you have been begging for since 4 years ago when the Switch first came out. Since somehow it's been 4 years.
Yeah, I think this is a Clarity article that just leaked out from Takashi Mochizuki and Sohee Kim. It looks like all they have is confirmation that Samsung is making an OLED display, 7-inch screen, and it looks like the requester is for Nintendo. That's really the only news they have on there. They did go into deeper detail about the OLED panel will consume less battery and offer higher contrast and possibly faster response time. And then they said from, I guess, sources they heard close from the people who leaked the OLED panels that the latest model of the Switch will come with a 4K ultra high definition graphics when paired with the TVs. They said that could intensify a long-standing complaint of developers who have struggled with the difference in resolution between handheld and TV modes and now face a bigger gap between the two.
Nice. Kotaku's picked this up too, 8 minutes ago.
Yes. Yep. So, I mean, this is a 7-inch screen, which is bigger than the 6.2 inch of the original Switch, and which is bigger than the 5.5 of the Lite. That's all they got going on. They said the panels won't actually be in manufacturing until June. So I'm assuming by that time standard, unless something changes, this would be a holiday thing. So
720p on the handheld, right? But the OLED's going to make it look nicer. The big bump is going to be in the dock, right? So I wonder.
Yes.
I wonder if the guts of the Switch are going to change any, or if we're going to be able to get maybe this enhanced dock and plop our existing consoles down on it. What do you guys think?
I think what was rumored previously was that it was both the console had an upgraded chipset and then the dock had something to boost it. It's something that they work cohesively together.
So maybe not compatible.
I would think not. It would be similar to like doing a Lite and trying to dock it into a regular Switch.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it'll be.
I'm sure there's going to be something there to stop it from happening. So.
All right, you heard it here first on the NOFODcast. Breaking news, and this story will be 2 days old by the time it's posted.
2 years, they already have it in our hands. Well done.
And fun fact, I believe today the Switch is 4 years old now.
March 3rd, 2017.
So, I mean, 4 years, a lot of new technology out there.
That's true. And it was a little behind. Wasn't it like an underspec NVIDIA Shield when it came out? It was already a little behind.
Yeah.
Something you could already kind of get just without the proprietary Nintendo spin. Man, I can't believe it's been 4 years.
Doesn't feel like it.
Good ass console. Hey, in 4 years, remember the 360 had replaced the Xbox within that 4 years, so
yeah,
you had a total new generation shift in that point. What was game?
Yeah,
Wii was
this will help out with this should help out with the transition to the current gen consoles we got going on right now. So
yeah, since it was already kind of a mid step, it kind of completes that mid step. And Nintendo games
should
are still
help.
gonna look good, so
yeah, it should help with the they're big on the indie crowd right now with the Switch, so that should help that crowd keep up. And I don't know how it'll help third party developers. I'm sure they'll develop something more powerful, but I'm sure that the big win will be for indie groups. That way they don't have to sit there and tinker with two different versions of software and probably stretch their resources out. Then I imagine there's a lot of people out there playing the Switch. They would probably still do two different versions, but it should make it easier for the developers, in my opinion, at least. So
I could see this also opening a door for like maybe a Madden or a FIFA or something that may have been more hesitant to release. We've been getting iterations of FIFA. Have we ever gotten a Madden on Switch? There's no Maddens on Switch, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and
only FIFA and NBA 2K.
And the FIFAs have just been like legacy editions, so they've been modified versions of like 2018 or whatever it was, the last one they gave up on. So maybe we get like full versions of these. It's kind of a side note. I saw 2K21's coming out on Game Pass. I actually want to try that and see what it looks like. I might check that one out. It's one of those like I've wanted to try it out from afar type things, but I don't want to spend the $30-$40 or whatever it is just to try it. So I'm pretty interested to see.
They still never clarified whether or not we get the next gen version or not,
I didn't
right?
see that. So it was Madden. It was NBA
Madden,
2K.
Madden, I know we get both versions.
Madden, you get both?
From what they said, that's why people were assuming the NBA 2K we were getting both. But I think when you search the NBA 2K in the store, it only listed the previous generation version.
Gotcha. And Star Wars Squadrons was in there too, which I know a lot of people were clamoring for, and that'll open up that player base also. That wasn't in news, so that's good. We covered that. All right, we had your first. Let's jump straight into it. We had your first PlayStation State of Play. What's everybody's hot take? What do we think?
It was all right.
I love everything. I'm the worst person to ask.
I was
like,
I mean,
that was great.
To me, it was slightly underwhelming. It was a lot of things we've already seen. They just kind of reiterating or showing a little bit more.
Which I got to give it to them. At least they clarified that it was only going to be updates, mostly on what was done in the last State of Play.
They got out ahead and said that.
Yeah, they did say they were. It was mostly updates. But and I know we'll get into the substance of the show. I mean, to kind of open up with Crash Bandicoot 4 was a little odd considering that trailer had dropped a couple weeks ago.
It was.
And they talked about that. So I thought that was a little odd.
They did hone in on the PS5, like specific things about it though, which being a State of Play, that's going to be their spin. So that's good.
But I mean, I wasn't like, gosh, of course, a lot of people on the internet, they'll take it and run, pour salt all over it.
Well, I mean,
but I wasn't one of them.
To add what you said, I mean, I wasn't expecting much from it, and I got exactly what I was looking for. So
pretty much, yeah.
And even their little surprise at the end, I figured was going to happen. So
I did like the little surprise at the end, and I'm sure. We'll go ahead and get into it.
There's not much leading up to that. Are we all going to agree the surprise is the highlight?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, they did. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, they did show off a little bit more of Returnal, which still looks freaking amazing. I'm ready to play this game.
Good.
They should actually show some gameplay this time where you kind of see where some of the aspects on there.
It looks trippy because I mean that part where it's you're running through it, shooting, and then you like go into that house and it almost turns into like Resident Evil or like reminded me a lot of PT. And it just
reminded a lot of people of PT.
Yeah. That game looks like it's going to be a head trip and going to be awesome.
I liked all
they showed off.
Looked at next gen and like seeing all the particle effects and everything. I was like, ooh, this couldn't have been done on PS4. This looks sharp.
And then what was the other? The other like new one was Sifu.
That looked interesting, right? Like the aging mechanic. Like he got older every time he died. It seemed like. We'll have to see.
And that game's come in 2021, completely based around kung fu and has a unique story. They went in again, talked about that game that was talked about in the Nintendo Direct, the Knockout City game, the dodgeball.
Good to me. I looked more interesting than I thought previously. It's like a Splatoon dodgeball almost,
Yeah.
You're not painting the ground though, or a squid.
And I know that they did say they had, not like a closed beta, but it was you could sign up to participate in some form of a beta.
Yeah.
Ultra Void, which I know was the Solar Ash gameplay. We had seen that game, I want to say last year.
I didn't get a lot from this one personally. It seems like that Hyperlight Drifter / Pathless / it looked like an indie game catchphrase. It may be amazing, and I know people are working hard on it, but nothing about it spoke to me specifically.
Then they showed off a franchise I thought was pretty much dead in the water, Five Nights at Freddy's.
It's still popular.
Security Breach. I guess so. I remember playing a couple of the earlier games, and I mean they're just kind of jump scare simulators. But I mean this one looks completely different from the regular gameplay of the first. What was it? 4 or 5?
That's marketed at a younger audience.
I think
right?
so.
Okay.
They showed more of Oddworld Soulstorm.
which looked awesome, and more importantly,
It's coming to PS4 and PS5 on April 6th.
as a PlayStation Plus title.
And that's, PlayStation
God,
Plus.
yes. We played, the
Uh,
missus and I know this, like, I don't talk about this game a whole lot. When that new and tasty came out for PS4, it seemed like it was one of the first, like, PlayStation Plus PS4 titles we got. We played the shit out of it. She loved it. Follow me. And trying to get, like, all the Mudokons and everything. Trying to get them all to follow you and make it to the end. And some of the puzzles just had us stumped for days until we cracked it. And that was a good-ass game.
They did show a little bit more of Deathloop, which I'm still like kind of on the fence
Uninterested.
about this game.
File this under uninterested for me.
And then they did show more of Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which I'm 100% in on that game. That game looks amazing.
Got a release date too, and also hoping for a physical copy announcement before too long.
Yeah.
Got some time.
And then the big thing of the show was Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade
2.8.
Arriving on PS5 June 10th, 2021, and it will have a free upgrade path for those who've bought the physical and digital versions of the game on PS4.
Cesar called this one.
Here at NOFODcast, we call this Path to Victory.
Cesar called this one. He said, I mentioned it. Either I mentioned it or he mentioned it a couple weeks ago, and Cesar literally said, that PS5 patch is coming. Just wait.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, because I was going to play it again, but I was like, I'll wait for the PS5 one. I knew it was coming, so.
Looked like substantial upgrades, too.
Oh, yeah. And along with that, they showed Yuffie's coming to the game in DLC.
So, which was cool because you guys haven't played it, but at the end of the game, you see Yuffie and Midgar, or what you thought was Yuffie, and I guess that confirms it.
Gotcha.
So, because it's one of the moments you have towards the end of the game that you just interact with her, and I was like, that looks like her.
Like, I think I know who this character is, the Materia Thief.
So it looks like at this point, it's when Cloud has gone missing. So it looks like this 2 chapters with Yuffie, where they're trying to steal the ultimate materia from Shinra, takes place in the middle of the game. So
that'll be cool. And as Brant mentions, this is a free upgrade for it. Do you get it off of the digital one? If you get this free PlayStation Plus, I didn't think so. This is only off the disc,
we'll talk
right?
about that. Yeah,
Okay.
We'll talk about that later. But
right.
they already announced with that announcement that the version we're getting for PlayStation Plus, there's no free upgrade. It's not eligible.
Okay. Yeah. And I just did that with Borderlands, so I'll have a little bit more to touch on with that because that was the first time I bought the upgrade. That was kind of weird.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't come with the Yuffie DLC. If you do the Path to Victory, you have to purchase that separately, and it's like $29. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think it's $29 separately. So, or you can pay $69 for the retail disc version, which includes the DLC code, which is pointless, but whatever.
For the PTD. Yeah, it's not even on the disc. How does that happen?
Yeah. Boo.
And a little sidebar afterward, Square came out and announced a couple more Final Fantasy games, 2 more to be exact.
But why weren't they in the state of play? Brant, go on.
Oh, because they wanted to showcase them because they're so special. You have Final Fantasy First Soldier, which is a battle royale game.
Yeah.
Is what everyone was clamoring for, battle royale and Final Fantasy. And then also they did announce this. It looked pretty damn amazing. Was the Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which will encompass the entire storyline, including Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, like all storyline just crammed together. But the reason they kind of left them out of the state of play is because they are coming to Android and iOS.
Mobile games.
Definitely a good bit of a letdown. But hopefully that Ever Crisis will get ported to other platforms a little later.
I'm sure we will, like they did with 15.
Mm-hmm.
With their Pocket Edition.
That's right, a Pocket Edition.
Yeah.
Because that was a cell phone exclusive, yeah.
Yeah. And that looks like the definitive way to have all that in one package.
But let's talk about the real news where they're retconning Dirge of Service in this Final Fantasy thing. We're just taking all the best parts and putting it in there. Where we just got a villain just popping up in there.
In the Final Fantasy cinematic universe, they're taking out Dirge of Service.
It's like we're not going to redo anything in Dirge of Service. We're just going to take this one villain out. I'm assuming they're going to take out his two friends as well from that game and throw them in there as well. So
we have to stream it now. We have to keep it alive, just like Vincent. All right, next up in news, Brant, thank you for adding this. I had forgotten all about it. There was a Pokemon Presents show. The big news coming from that, they started off with a new Pokemon Snap imagery and videos. This article comes from IGN and Adam Bankhurst at IGN. I don't think I've ever heard that name before. The big news, I think, or the second biggest news, is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl will be releasing in late 2021, and these are remakes of the DS's Pokemon Diamond and Pearl from 2006. Trivia, Brant, in my first interview at our current place of employment, I was asked by someone about these two new DS releases. So this was a flashback moment for me. Like, wow, okay, we got remasters now, and I've been at this one place long enough. I was asked about the new versions when I was hired. So some interesting Bergman trivia there. They're chibi looking. They look great to me. There's some sort of internet outcry about how the people look, but I think they look really fucking good. What do you guys think?
We come to that point where we're full circle where Pokemon is included in all the hate now. There's so many Pokemon fans that somebody's not going to be happy. It's like anything else is popular now and media. So it is what it is.
Like that. Who else would you compare to the fan base of Pokemon? I got one in mind. It's still Nintendo.
A lot of fan bases have them. There's always that section of the fan base that.
To me,
you talking about gaming wise or just in general?
To me, Smash Brothers fans are similar.
Smash Brothers. I mean, we got Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
That's another one. That just recently became when they started doing the new movies.
Yeah.
What else we
Brant,
got?
did you grow up because of the fandom or the movies?
There's fandom everywhere, and a lot of the fandom is. Some of the fandom is wholesome, and then the majority of the loudest people in most of the fandoms are just trash people. Yeah. They really are.
Yep.
They cry about the dumbest things, and they make the biggest deals out of nothing.
It's just some people just want to be unhappy. That's all it is. I mean, no matter whatever news gets reported somewhere, there's always somebody who's going to say something negative. Unfortunately, it just is what it is.
So these look good to both of you guys. These remakes.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. It looks faithful to the original. I don't know what they expected. A full-on remake. I think that studio that's handling is the one that handled Pokemon Home. Looks like the main Game Freak Studio is doing that one you're about to announce in a minute here.
I'm going to announce
as
it
their
here
main
live.
game. Yeah. So.
Anyways, I mean, we're all about game preservation and things like that. And this is a legit remake. This isn't just a port of something. And those DS games are still pretty expensive, if I remember right. So. Hey, here's a way to play it on a new platform that potentially is getting a new model by the end of the year. So there will be even more of those out there, and this will sell like, mad, obviously.
Yeah, it's just funny because, everybody was asking for these Pokemon to be added, and now that they're being added, and people are still not happy. Yeah. It is what it is.
The one Cesar was mentioning, taking place in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl's same Sinnoh region's feudal past, Pokemon Legends...
Breath of the Wild?
Well done, Brant.
Looks like it.
I was hoping for pronunciation of that. Instead, you gave us
Arceus.
Legends Pokemon Legends Arceus is an open-world take on Pokemon. From IGN, set to be released in early 2022, Pokemon Legends Arceus features a game world that is reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, with Pokemon appearing all over. This is more in line with the Pokemon that I think we all envisioned playing. For me, at the time, it was on the GameCube. I was like, man, if we could get this on the GameCube, it'd be sweet. But this seems like that realization of that type of game. And as Brant alluded to, they even went in with it with the Breath of the Wild comparisons, like that opening trailer. It had the same like over the shoulder panning over into the
yeah.
Like they totally went for it on that. But that game looks incredible. It looks really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said it was early 2022 for that one, which I got a feeling I probably get pushed back into the holidays probably. But I could be wrong.
Says they'll be creating players will be creating Sinnoh's first Pokédex and features Rowlet, Cyndaquil, and Oshawott as starter Pokemon. Were those the starters in that generation? I don't remember.
They were not.
Okay.
They all of those come from different regions. They explained that a certain professor, so I'm guessing it's going to be a surprise that just
Probably a
some
tree
professor
name.
comes.
Plum.
Yeah. And says
Venus flytrap.
I've got one of these.
Professor Venus Flytrap?
Venus Flytrap.
He's the most popular one.
That's a plant. It's not even a tree.
Yeah, that's why they're breaking new ground on this one, man.
That's where you start at in feudal Japan.
Yep. I could have went with spider lilies, but I went Venus Flytrap.
The most aggressive of all plants.
Oh. But they said that the professor comes from a different, or just said it's a surprise professor that's gathered these 3 Pokemon from different regions, and that you pick one of them and start your adventure.
Professor Flytrap.
So stupid.
First name Venus.
This reminds me a lot of in the newer games, Sword and Shield. There was this area called the Wild Area, and it was this giant open world area, and you could walk through and encounter these random wild Pokemon running around.
Sounds like the Safari Zone from the first Red and Blue.
Kind of, but more like just a big open concept. And I think they kind of built around that. And also, people have already been, again, talking about the Pokédex, and because you're building Sinnoh's first Pokédex, and that's probably going to mean that only Pokemon from the Sinnoh region are going to appear. So, of course, I think Game Freak wanted to center on a specific region to keep it small, to keep it narrow, and hopefully get away from what they had last time, where people were crying about which ones were and weren't going to be in the game. But with over 700 and some Pokemon, I mean, it is getting a little ridiculous. But I mean, and they kind of did it to themselves, because they had just been building and building and putting all of them in the game up until that point. So, but like we said, some people just want to whine about everything. But this looks really good.
Looks awesome.
Like we said, comparison to Breath of the Wild, just by kind of aesthetic, just from kind of feel, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty damn good game.
When did those remakes come out? Was that the end of this year?
Yeah, this fall.
I could see those being alongside that new model potentially.
Possibly.
Hey man, I'm down for an OLED. Portable OLED again. Let's go.
Yeah, we lived that life before.
I live it every day with my phone when I look into it.
And did we have an announcement on as far as the release date for Pokemon Snap before this event?
Yeah, it's next month or April.
I think it was a couple of weeks ago. We had an update that showed it.
I couldn't remember, but yeah, it's April 30th.
It's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always panics, like, what's Nintendo going to come out with? And then they just, like, shit all over the calendar, and it's filled up, and then and then they'll start bitching in 6 months.
Yeah.
They've got...
Yeah, the only one I'm still pissed about, I got to go through, and I got to beat that fucking No More Heroes game before 3 comes out, because all those characters that I thought died in the first 2 are back in this one, and somebody was on the forums like, yeah, you got to play that bullshit minigame thing, and you'll see how people come back to life. I was like,
oh,
all right,
no.
Great. So I was like, it's like, because I was sitting there like, why is she still alive? And it's like, yep, you didn't play the game, that's why. I was like, oh,
there's a prerequisite.
I mean, now I got to go back and figure it out. Yeah, apparently the lore carries over.
You gotta love it. Speaking of lore carrying over, the next Dragon Age, according to Jason Schreier, will not have a multiplayer component on it. It will now be single player, which should not be a pivot for a Dragon Age game, but hey, that's EA. Jason Schreier says, video game publisher Electronic Arts has made a major pivot on the next game in the Dragon Age series, allowing the developers to remove all planned multiplayer components from the game, according to people familiar with the matter. The next Dragon Age, which does not have a title, had previously been designed with heavy multiplayer component. I wonder why. said the people who asked not to be named because they were not authorized to speak to the press. In recent months, it has transformed into a single-player-only game after EA was stung by a recent multiplayer flop. What could that be referring to? Battlefront? That's been a while.
Anthem.
Ooh. I guess that's the recent multiplayer flop. That seems like so long ago to me, though. So this... go ahead.
Yeah, that's the only one that's recently came out that I can say that they dealt a bad hand on, right?
Yeah.
Anything else I can think of? I mean, Apex they won. Maybe Battlefield.
That last Battlefield
5?
didn't do so hot, yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody's ever really gone to Battlefield for the single player campaign, so it's not really a flop as far. But they just mentioned multiplayer. There's no telling.
And then they just posted an article on that one, which was what Battlefield 6 was having, like, what was it, EA? It was like the Los Angeles one that handled Apex is helping them out, and Criterion's not doing a Need for Speed this year because they're helping out with Battlefield 6.
Oh God, those tanks are going to control amazing. The tanks will be drifting.
They were like, no, they were like, yeah, it's like whenever they were making fun of Justin Lin doing the Star Trek movie.
Battlefield Hot Pursuit.
Yeah, because I think they said we're not getting a Need for Speed this year. This will be next year because of that. So I remember that was what the article was saying.
Give us another remaster. Hot Pursuit remaster was so fucking good. That game was amazing. What else Need for Speed will we need though? That's kind of like cream of the crop, right? Unless we got like an old school collection.
Need a fucking Burnout.
Yeah, Burnout Revenge and Package Revenge and what was the other one? Takedown together, 3 and 4. That'd be a good combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we get a current gen version of Most Wanted?
Not yet. You think that might be next?
So.
I played that a lot on my Vita. It was pretty fun.
It'll be a new.
That was the one that came out with Out to Paradise.
You remember how they started recycling everything, like Hot Pursuit and Most Wanted? I think there was one more they recycled. But it'd be funny if they did that again. There was another Most Wanted. So you have like Need for Speed Most Wanted 2004. Need for Speed.
We're going back to the 1992 version of Most Wanted that you never knew existed, and we're remastering that one. I mean, at that point, it's just gonna be like movies where they just like name a movie and then year afterwards, so you know the different versions. So
we got it with Doom and God of War, and those games were amazing. So it didn't.
Italian Job 1996 version versus the 1961.
The Italian Job.
Yeah. That's the one that stuck in my head the most.
Casino Royale.
Yeah. There you go. That's another
two
one.
Totally different movies. Jason Schreier notes that there were two successes, or two totally separate paths. You had Jedi Fallen Order, which reached 10 million players in the first 4 months, and then you have Anthem, which was recently, the reboot was recently canceled, recent. See how many times I can say recent. Speaking of recent, break out your Wii U's, because this is not a parody, this is not a bit. We do a lot of those. The Wii U just got an update for system stability. Version 5.5.5 is out there. Not sure why. Maybe if you're playing, as The Verge notes, Wind Waker HD or Twilight Princess HD or Xenoblade Chronicles X, but maybe there's no other reason to have your Wii U hooked up. Or
yeah, we missed out on the 0.4 version, which was exclusive to Europe.
Seriously, they got one. They got a 5.5.4.
Yeah, that's why somebody asked, like, why did we skip 0.4? It's like it was exclusive to Europe. Somebody put it in the comments.
There's something on these original Xbox threads. There's builds of the Xbox. There's 1.0 through 1.6, and there's some mythical 1.4 out there that apparently people saw screenshots of, but it was too similar to another one, but it had a major error, so they recalled it all and went back to 1.3. So there's like this mythical white whale unicorn of an original Xbox version 1.4. It's not supposed to exist.
Oh god,
mythical firmware.
I think it was Wario posted on there because he always did the screen cap and it went from like 5.53 to 5.55, and that's how that whole conversation started. It's like, yeah, we didn't get 5.54. That was Europe only. And I didn't even know. Apparently they got it. So I was like, oh, okay.
Shit, my Wii U's hooked up and the pad is charged. I could check it out. Need to mod mine.
Mine is as well.
Brent, did you ever mod yours?
I did a very, very simple soft mod.
Gotcha. We need to look into that so we can start playing those backups and those import games. I think Cesar is hooked on watching people play. What was that, Fatal Frame?
Yes. Because I want to get the European version, but that shit's fucking expensive. Because that's in English. At least I got another code, and that came out pretty well, so I don't have to pay out the ass for that one.
Let's just play the ISOs.
Because I love that one on DS, and I was like, they came out with a Wii one, and they fucked us over. I was like, man, I'm tired of Nintendo of America. Nintendo Europe was releasing everything.
Those
back
were
then.
the dark ages, Nintendo of America.
Mm-hmm. They're like, I didn't know it plays that shit. And I'm like, I mean, that's to import everything, like Dave Disaster.
Make them another Wii Sports.
Another code, and what was the other things? A bunch of
Remember
other.
We had to beg
things.
for those 3 RPGs. There was like a whole groundswell behind that.
Yeah, because remember we didn't get Xenoblade until GameStop made that deal. It was exclusive to them. Fucking Nintendo of Europe did it everywhere.
Those days were dark, man. People begging about these Nintendo Directs now, they were never around for N64, GameCube, and Wii when you went literal months without anything. And then Nintendo was making money hand over fist on the Wii with, third-party support,
Shovelware.
whatever. That too. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
They were making money. They didn't have to come out with these top tier. I mean, we got there's some gems on the Wii. I'm not knocking its library, but there was a dearth of titles there at the very end. And it seems like when that happened, the 360 and like PS3 and all of them, that's when they took off. That's when they were at their best. So it's like, as a Nintendo fan, you were just like, okay.
And then we got to Dishonored and it went.
The game ran like shit. And Skyrim started breaking PS3s and freezing them up.
Oh god.
So update your Wii U or not if you have it hacked. We got a game announcement this past week, which are always exciting. Aliens Firestorm is a co-op shooter about surviving a xenomorph attack. This comes from The Verge. It's a 3-player. I thought it was going to be 4 when I was looking at it at first, but it's only 3 players I saw. The next.
Give me that good old arcade action.
Yep.
Give me that old 3-player arcade action.
Looks like Left 4 Dead. The next Alien video game will be cooperative. Cold Iron Studios revealed Aliens Firestorm, a multiplayer third-person shooter about surviving an onslaught of xenomorphs set a few decades after the original Alien films. It's class-based, so you have roles like Gunner, Demolisher, or Technician. And Cold Iron says there will be a huge range of enemies to take on, including 11 types of xenomorphs.
And this is all part of Disney's plan about not making video games and giving out the licenses again. So
right after they were super hot and heavy. So this month they're off video games. Next month they'll be right back on it. Somebody also mentioned the Aliens is the, I think it was Mike. I don't want to misquote him, but the Alien Queen is now technically in the Disney Princess pantheon.
it could work, man.
Oh, she's right there.
I mean, you still have a group of people who are trying to get signatures and get Anastasia in there, and then Disney's like, yeah, Anastasia's not a Disney princess.
Oh, such a good movie. I like that one so much.
That's one of my favorites.
It was good.
Or even maybe the female fairy from Fern Gully. Also like Fern Gully.
Fern Gully was good as hell.
Yeah, I mean, Robin Williams did a great job as the baddie.
I like people coming at Robin Williams like, you've already been a Disney character, you can't be one. He's like, fuck you, I'll take whatever role I want to. You've been the genie, how dare you do another animated film? He's like, I'll do what I want.
Let me live.
Miss Robin Williams.
Let me do my thing.
All right, I'm going to let somebody else take the next news story as I grab a tasty cold beverage.
Oh, this is a sad story.
News. This is also why I don't want to be around for this one.
Oh, so this one involves Sony basically kind of disbanding. Well, they say they're recentering. Sony has confirmed that their Japan studios will be recentered to Team Asobi, the ones behind Astro's Playroom, and they will be focusing, of course, on like Astrobot games. Which isn't a bad thing, but Japan Studios is a amazing studio, first party studio for
basically synonymous
Sony.
with PlayStation.
I mean, you got Ape Escape, you got Shadow of the Colossus,
Gravity Rush,
of course, Astrobot, Gravity Rush, Knack. Where's Knack 3, guys? Where's Knack 3?
Oh god, who did that? Was it Grub and Wario were joking about Knack 3? They're like, yeah, watch it happen, and then like the next day is when they dismantled Japan Studio. They did the opposite. They took away Knack 3.
And Brant, full disclaimer, Brant unironically loves Knack, so it's a big thing in his household.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go too long on this one. I just want to know, this is why I don't care for Sony buying studios because I know this is what Sony does.
Yeah.
They don't do the same thing like Microsoft. So that's why everybody's like doing this little war about who's buying who, and I'm like, as much as I love Sony, I don't want Sony buying studios because if they're not making money, they're going to close them down. That's just they don't have that type of output. They need something like Game Pass or something like that where they need content.
This would have been perfect. This would have been your Game Pass factory, like Puppeteer.
I mean,
no more Puppeteer. That sucks.
And even then, Microsoft's spending a ton of money on their Game Pass stuff because I mean they bought up all these studios and we still don't have any games. I mean we got some stuff that was already in the pipeline before the purchase, kind of like Bleeding Edge, and that came from Ninja Theory. But I mean we still don't have any of the big stuff from these purchases yet. So
yeah, but this is really kind of heartbreaking because a lot of their games were just so good.
It was sitting on the shelf like we got this. Like, yeah, put it out there. Yeah. I bought a copy. It was $5.
Yeah, this does suck. This is bad news. This is probably the worst news of the past week, game wise.
The writing was kind of on the wall since I mean, handfuls of some of the lead developers and stuff just kind of departing the company quietly here and there over the past year or so. So I mean, it's
well, I think this
it's
whole
not
article
super surprising.
This whole article started with like a whole bunch of exodus of people. Remember, they like all of a sudden they're like, "Today's the last day. Today's the last day." All of a sudden, because I think Bloodborne was the one you talked about last week, Brent. And then after that, a couple days later, it was like a bunch of big producers were out of there. So they were just like, "Hate to see this go," Which is weird because I think that whole Silent Hill rumor where Sony was having that Silent Hill license was supposed to be in production at Japan Studio, which was weird after the guy who created Silent Hill left already.
Sucks.
So I'm wondering the story behind that. I'm wondering if they had it at some point and they just handed it off to somebody else.
So they also, I mean, they helped out. They ended up being like a support studio of sorts too, almost like a producer. Like okay, we have the backing and funding, we know the hardware, we can help you get it made, that kind of stuff. I just want to go over. I really feel like this one is worth going over. Japan Studio, just their legacy. I don't think a lot of us would be here talking about games if it weren't for the studio. I think they're that important. It was almost like the EAD1 team at Nintendo for so long. But you've got Jumping Flash, Arc the Lad, Beyond the Beyond, that RPG.
RPGs that Sony don't care about anymore.
Papalacroy, Parappa the Rapper, Wild Arms, Intelligent Cube, Alundra, Everybody's Golf originated here before Clap Hands. What else is in here? So many games. Jammer Lammy, Ape Escape we mentioned. Legend of Dragoon. Vib Ribbon, which we finally got in the West after years and years. Dark Cloud, Okage Shadow King. Mad Maestro for PS2. Ico for PS2. Dual Hearts. Of course, Dark Cloud 2. Wild Arms Alter Code F. So basically Wild Arms and Ape Escape. Man, through and through. And I've been wanting a new Ape Escape. They did a bunch of the iToy stuff. Genji, Dawn of the Samurai. Kingdom of Paradise.
We'll never finish that story.
Shadow of the Colossus. Rule of Rose. Huh. Loco Roco. Everybody's Tennis. Gene d'Arc, which was a great strategy RPG for PSP. Folklore for PS3. Rogue Galaxy for PS2. It's almost depressing the more you look at it. So many games. White Knight Chronicles, Demon Souls. They actually worked on the PS5 Demon Souls. White Knight Chronicles. Tokyo Jungle. Soul Sacrifice. Knack. Yeah. Sucks, man. That's a big name in games, It's not just a normal studio closure, which loss of jobs, that kind of thing is always bad news, but this was a creative tour de force within Sony. So, hope to see more.
End of an era. Yeah.
Definitely hope to see more from Asobi.
But, at the end of the day, it's all about making money. So, I mean, it looks like they didn't have anything in the pipeline. And they just went ahead and just put the finish off that studio, unfortunately. So,
sorry, I thought I muted. Sorry, y'all.
I don't think. No, you're fine. I don't think they had any games in development. Is what I'm saying. So
Or this could be,
unfortunately.
some major restructuring to a stronger first-party Sony, and it just ends up being, we talk about it in 3 years, and it was just some footnote.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could see Naughty Dog and San Diego. This could be Team Asobi could be maybe handling multiple projects. I mean, not as many as they could have under Japan Studio, but maybe they do 2 big games here and there. So
Yeah.
who knows? I don't know. Either way, I mean, I think it's a win-win because I mean, a lot of those talented developers are out and going on their own, and those games are going to go spread out, and they're not tailored to one system, so they're able to go multi-platform, get more fans.
Where did Alan Becker end up at? I remember he was like one of the leads on Puppeteer, and that name just always stuck out to me. Like he was being in he was all over the press at that time.
Yeah, I think the article lists that the studio never found its footing after he left. So that was where the downfall for Japan Studio happened.
Great.
So.
Oh, I love that game so much.
So I think they never found their identity. I think that's what the article was talking about after Alan left. So.
I kind of want to see where he's at now. Japan Studio, Alan Becker. American animator. I don't think that's right.
No, he went on off grid.
Is he out of games?
I think so because it came out of nowhere.
Live correction. There's no telling.
Yeah, it never said where he was going. He just left the company, and that was it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Sean Layden, where he just whatever they're doing, they're taking a break or whatever. So,
Astrobot director promoted to PlayStation Japan studio head. That was Nicolas Ducat. And that was after Alan Becker. It's unclear what the move means for Japan Studios' previous head, Alan Becker. That was the most recent news, and that was last year, 2020. He might have got caught in all that reshuffling after like Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst and all them.
Yeah, that was part of it too.
Yeah.
If you go based off, believe it or not, if you go based off his LinkedIn, which he does have a LinkedIn here somehow.
Okay.
It just says that Alan Becker, video game industry, he's retired. He says retired home full time since August 2020.
Okay, that's recent. That doesn't mean a whole lot.
Yeah.
He said he was senior vice president up until July of 2020.
That checks out.
He's in Los Angeles now.
He'll land with somebody out there. Then you don't move to Los Angeles for its cost of living.
That's what I said. He seems like he's doing like Sean Layden, where they're just kind of lying low. Because I got a good feeling Sean Layden's going to bounce back at some point too. It seems like they're just taking a break. They've been doing it for so long. So
I like Reggie. Reggie was out at Nintendo on a Friday, and it was like GameStop board on a Monday, and like launching Foundations and shit.
Or Pizza Hut demo disc.
And the Bigfoot pizza and the Sicilian. Do y'all remember the Sicilian pizza? I love that shit. It was in a square. Yeah. It was in a big rectangle. All right, next up, Epic is acquiring Media Tonic parent company Tonic Games Group, which of course includes all-time great Fall Guys. I've never played it. This comes from The Verge. Fortnite creator Epic Games is acquiring video game studio Media Tonic, the maker of smash hit Fall Guys, for an undisclosed sum. For now, at least, the game is playable on Steam still, much like Rocket League was at once.
I think they clarified, came back and said that it was going to stay on Steam.
It is going to? For now.
If I remember, I think it was on Twitter. Somebody came back and Epic said it was not going to leave Steam.
The Verge notes, interestingly, Fall Guys is built using the Unity game engine, a rival to Epic's Unreal platform. Despite that, the company say they hope to bring Fortnite-style features like crossplay to Fall Guys in the future. So the game's been a huge success, great for them for financial security, maybe not so great for gamers everywhere, because now they have a larger seat at the table deciding their future course.
Yeah.
I mean, we know it's coming on.
Bad.
We know it's coming on an Xbox and Switch this summer, so I guess that'll hopefully give them more legs with a bigger company.
Yep.
We'll all look forward to all the Fortnite crossovers.
It's gonna happen.
And Rocket League crossovers.
Yep.
Epic's new strategy is like, let's get the biggest multiplayer franchises we can. What would
Makes
be
sense.
next? Among Us.
Yeah, that would be one.
How do you monetize that free to play model? Skins and such.
I
they
mean,
already
they've
do
only
that.
had. I mean, we just got the second map not too long ago because they had that one map forever. So they were going to make it Among Us 2, and they canceled that because they were just going to support the first one. So
They were developing the second one, and the first one took off.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that. We're talking about getting a new logo. What if our podcast takes off? It's like, okay, we don't need a new logo. We're doing okay. Hold the course.
I mean, who needs a new logo? What would we do with that?
That's right. Hey, when I think about changing something up, I'm like, what kind of feedback have I gotten? Who says talk less about Halo or talk more about anime, vice versa? You know, nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody has said it. Nobody's decided. It's just been us bitching back and forth and deciding what we do. You know, I would love for that to plot our course. Like, hey, this sucks. Well, I guess we decided we didn't like talking about MPD every month, so we decided that sucks.
I mean, there's things we hate, man. We hate NPD. We hate polymegas. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we hate.
Oh God, it's March 3rd.
Yep.
There's your polymega mention of the week.
I'm deep in the forums. Nobody's mentioned anything. I think I went to the European distributor and people were asking them like, "Hey, it's March. Where's my stuff?" And that European distributor's like, "We're waiting on them to give us any information, so I don't know what to tell you." So they went dark again.
I was fired up after last week, right? So then I start poking around, and there's his name's Nick. I've had a couple conversations with him on Twitter, but he runs the Racket Boy site. It's like old school. They have guides for like collecting for old systems and best way to play and things like that. It was kind of I guess it was an early retro collecting resource that I would check out. And they sent him one of the preview units, and people are going back and forth like, why wouldn't you? Same shit we bitch about. Why wouldn't you get an FPGA? Why don't you use a PC? This kind of stuff. He's like, guys, if you have a CD-ROM based system and you have, of that era, not PS2, GameCube, or Xbox, but he's like, nowhere can you take the disc, pop it in, and then you get all this shit populated. Everything is easy. It's right there. Mm-hmm. You can put the patches in. So we know what we're getting.
It's experience.
It just works. It works. It is that console experience for that type stuff. So we are... It backed me off the cliffs. That's how I meant to text you that same argument that he was in. And he was pretty steadfast, like, okay, it's not for everybody. And I got sent one, so that's where I sit on the fence. But for everything that I have thrown at it, it has done exactly what I wanted it to do. And that's what we are after. So if we fucking ever get it.
I mean, we make that argument. I can pretty much, outside of doing exclusives from Sony and Nintendo, I could game everything on PC. I just don't want to feel like deal with the bullshit to do it. There's caveats to everything. There's a lot of... different settings and getting to run right and shit breaks and depending on your setup and it's like you said, I'd rather just buy something that works. I mean, technically we can run emulations on our PCs or buy something and make our own thing, but we have to configure. It's the same conversation you always tell me about making my own cold pressed coffee. I'd rather just pay the $5 to do it versus sitting there wasting all my time to get it done. It's the same thing with that. I would rather just pay that money for the Polymega or a console without me having to waste all this time to get it to work. So
and that's how
I'm lazy.
That's how we consume our stuff now. Like, I have multiple CDs. I have stacks of CDs. I have stacks of vinyl. My most listened to format is over now Apple Music. So it's all right there, and it's pretty damn good quality at this point. That bridge has, they've closed the gap there. I got the hiccups all of a sudden.
Just save your money and get that KFC console.
Yeah.
I'm just going to play yours, Brant. Okay, moving on to your Xbox Games with Gold for March and your PlayStation Games with PlayStation. PlayStation Plus.
What?
I don't know. What are they? Just PlayStation Plus free games? March monthly games. They need a better ringer than that, but I guess they're just going with the PlayStation Plus thing. Right?
Dude, every time I go in there with the Google Drive thing, there's always some article in there that tells me like, hey, my iPhone has been infected. Click here for me to go in settings and mess stuff up.
What happened?
It's only in there.
Google Drive? Our stuff?
Whatever. That's the only time I don't go to inappropriate sites. Apparently, y'all linking some weird sites on here.
It's just Brant.
I'm talking shit. Nope. I'm not even doing news. I'm a little punk.
So not even that, but you have literally done exactly what you said. We used to get porno links in our news, Brant. That's what happens with Cesar does. You get naughty stuff or search results. You get a search result.
I didn't actually. Yeah, I never linked it to it said site because that's going too far. But I would put it in Google, and then that way people would get that sense of panic in their face if it searches it, and they're like, "Oh God, where am I going?" It's just Google, and they're like, "Great."
Oh man,
going to an actual site is going too far. At that point, it's just all right. I don't know if it's funny anymore. It's just
And
sad.
now Brant knows why I pull up all the news before we get into the show. So I'm not
He
going.
said he didn't
As
say
do
he
I.
said nudes. He says nudes.
Cesar, build the nudes. No, this is not what we asked for. All right, your games with gold. I think we can knock this out pretty quick and move on to the PlayStation one.
Yeah.
From March 1st through 31st, you get Warface Breakout, which is sounds like an acne type medication. Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse is available from March 16th through April 15th. Metal Slug 3, which we all probably have playable on 12 different platforms, is available from March 1st through 15th. And Port Royale the 3rd, which is also supposed to be a pretty good game, is available from March 16th through the 31st. Does anyone have anything to add to this list?
No, it's probably like the 18th version of Metal Slug I got finally.
Yeah, we all have Metal Slug 3 on everything, right? If you have something that...
I think I have it on the OG Xbox also.
Yes,
so.
That was one of the first ways we could get it. Next up on the PlayStation list, you've got Farpoint for PlayStation 4 / that is that available outside of VR?
I
No.
don't believe so.
Okay, because they didn't put it in the logo up there. You see that? And I'm second guessing it. Like, wait,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Okay, so that is a VR game. Farpoint for PSVR for PS4.
I had to like find the case and look at it because I think on there it does say required on there at the top on the banner. So
we've got Remnant from the Ashes. We've got, is that Maquette? I want to say Marquette. Maquette?
I think it's Maquette.
PS5 is kind of like a puzzle. This from Annapurna Interactive via Gamatsu. All of it is tiny and simultaneously huge in this intriguing first-person puzzler designed around an Esker-esque recursive simulation, making its PS5 debut. Blah blah blah. If you get perplexed by a puzzle, call it PS5's Game Help for helpful hints to solve Maquette's tougher conundrums.
I think the big thing on there is the voice acting in that one, right?
Really?
I know Bruce Dallas Howard is in there.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce, yep.
Bryce and Bruce are two different people. Well, Bryce could be a man's name.
I mean, dude, it's literally just one consonant away or vowel. So
Bryce and Bruce, don't get them confused. Voice acting. Destruction All Stars got extended for another month until April 5th. Then it'll be, what was it, $19.99 or $16.99, something random.
Something like that.
And then your biggest release of the month, of course, is Final Fantasy VII Remake, one of Cesar's games of the year last year, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and the other person was Seth Gable, the other voice actor in that game too.
That name doesn't ring a bell. Who's Seth Gable?
He was on Fox's television series Fringe. Salem.
Was it Fringe Sci-Fi?
Yes.
I thought so. I think I watched maybe one or two.
I got in the first season of Fringe.
Superman and Lois is good.
Also.
Has anybody seen Superman and Lois? It's
Yes.
good.
I haven't.
I like it a lot. Cesar, have you seen the second episode?
A little bit today.
Okay, it came out last night. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, they just did their dinner thing. That's where I think I stopped at. So
I need to watch it. Also, on a TV note, the missus and I completely ran through Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is one of the greatest shows ever created on television. It's on Apple Plus, Apple TV Plus, maybe Apple Plus, Apple TV Plus. Ted Lasso, glorious. Back to Final Fantasy VII Remake. As we were talking about earlier, it is not available for PlayStation 5 upgrade. Let me see if I can find the exact same thing. Okay. As a thank you to those who have purchased Final Fantasy VII Remake for the PS4 console, Square Enix are providing these players a free PS5 enhancement update that will include all next-gen visual and gameplay enhancements detailed above at no extra cost when playing on a PS5 console. There's an asterisk there. Holy shit, where's that at? Oh god, how far down do I have to go to find it? Oh, their upgrade path is ridiculous.
Path of Victory.
Which versions of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade are available for purchase? Nope, that's not it either.
All it is.
All right, I quit.
Every
Please
version.
somebody break it down. I tried to find it in the official news release.
Every version is going to have on their Path to Victory. Every version that you physically bought gets the upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting it with this PlayStation Plus. It's going to be able to tell somehow. If you do the Path to Victory, you're not going to get the Yuffie DLC. that is sold separately. I think it's $29.99. You can buy a new digital version for PS5, or you can buy the retail disc for PS5, and that includes said DLC.
And it's like $10, right?
It's a $69 game, and it's $29 for the DLC.
Oh wow! I must have thought that $10 difference was somewhere else. So if you're planning to get the new version, so what do? We all have PS5s. What's our upgrade path here? I mean, we all have the disc.
Pop in the disc.
Okay, so do we add the license to our library, or is that going to fuck us up?
I think at this point,
go ahead.
At this point, and I don't mean to interrupt, and I apologize. At this point, they've already fixed that issue because they did the update on PS5 where if you get something for PlayStation Plus, and before when you had it on PS4 and you got the game for free, it just says it's purchase. Yeah. Now they did the update now where after it's done for their free period of time, you can actually kind of like Xbox is doing for years. You can go in there and purchase the game if you don't actually own it. So there's a way to differentiate it now. So
I'm thinking this will play out, and do we want to segue into games played? I can do it with this.
Yeah.
So I did this with Borderlands. I mentioned last week I got a new TV, so I got it all set up. So I wanted to try out everything 120 frames per second that I could. And Cesar had mentioned that Borderlands was one of them. And I had installed Borderlands before on PS5 and just kind of messed around with it, but it had faster load times, but it really wasn't an advantage to it. So this time I popped it in. I'm expecting is there going to be, I had deleted that install. Is there going to be a different experience here? What exactly am I looking for? And I was given the option in the PS5 menu, you have all that stuff at the top, and then you get that like sub menu when your game goes in. Over to the right, I had upgrade to PS5. So I clicked that, and then it brought me to like a purchase screen. I was like, and it said free. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do this. So I bought the PS5 version with my disc from PS4 that I think I got for like $8. And I got sent a receipt from PSN like we do for everything else that we buy. And that was it. It downloaded the PS5 version. So it's just, I guess I have that license, but it's tied to the disc. So whenever I pop the disc in, it'll authenticate off of that maybe, and then just fire up that digital SKU. But I popped that in. I messaged Cesar about it. It looks awesome. I cannot believe how good that game looks. And everything, just a sneak peek, everything looks good on an OLED. But when it really takes advantage of that variable refresh rate, it's awesome, man. Damn, it looks good. And even Borderlands, God.
It's a worthy successor to your Plasma, right?
This is the best image I've seen since the Plasma. The Plasma, I told y'all.
At this point, you're okay to let the Plasma die. If something happened, not wishing.
It's not gonna die. It's still hooked up.
But let's say for whatever reason, all your Plasma stopped working. You're like, okay, I have the OLED now. I'm okay. I don't have to panic.
Yes.
You're not on Reddit. You're not on Craigslist trying to find a Plasma somewhere. Like, I have to have a Plasma.
I'm still gonna do that, but I will still have the peace of mind that if I don't find one. No, the color accuracy and things like that are very akin to what I'm used to with a Plasma as far as it looks, and it looks the closest to. I haven't hooked anything retro up to it yet, which I think will be the final. That might be the final bit. I've got a couple. I'm trying. Oh, that thing squeaked. I've got one of the. Damn it, it's not in here. I've got one of the newer retro tinks, so I'm tempted to hook that up and do the line doubling stuff and just kind of see how like a Super Metroid, or even I was playing Metroid Prime, see how that looks. And it might be, I hate to be the CRT guy who says he doesn't need a CRT anymore, but oh man, it might get to that point. The color accuracy and the movement and everything is just so. When I was playing Borderlands, I'm looking at all that. It's cell shaded. We've talked about it on this podcast, but good art design, it doesn't matter what the graphics are going to, what system it's on, it's going to carry through. You have that good design of like a Wind Waker or Metal Gear Solid or Super Mario Brothers 3. A well-designed game is going to carry through good art direction. And where was I going with that? But I mean, cell shading.
Just like you said, cell shading, they age well.
Cell shading aged extremely well. And the Borderlands looks incredible on there. And I was thinking back as I was playing this solo, and hot take here, Borderlands is not great single player. I had a blast with it, co-op with Cesar. We had a really good time with the...
So we couldn't figure out what the hell's going on with all these people we think we should know.
Yeah.
Story-wise.
Yeah, Lilith.
I was lost.
Lilith is popping up. I'm like, isn't Lilith a bad guy?
And then you get the characters from Tales from the Borderlands in there, and I'm like, they're completely different from when I played that game. I'm like, I don't fuck.
You played it at least. At least the name is a reference.
I know who those people are, but I was like, I don't know why they're completely different personality wise, but I don't know what happened since then, but whatever.
Hot take for anybody who has PS5 and did I mention I got a Series X last podcast?
Not yet.
Okay. News. I mentioned last week. I was like, all right, how long's the countdown for this to happen? And I saw it pop.
It's the next day, right?
It was the next. It was less than 24 hours.
You sent me a photo that you bought it at Target. I was like, oh, okay. That didn't take long. You bought the TV, and the next day you bought the Series X.
I was like, okay, if I can. It popped up online. I was like, if I can get it, I can get it. I'll just fuck around and try this, and because I have an empty Target card, I was like, let's just see how it goes. And it went through, and then I got to pick up, and I was like, all right, here we go. So of course, I get that installed, and hot tip for everybody. Both of those systems come with the variable refresh rate compatible HDMI cables. I did not have to purchase new ones. I did not have to. So the ones that come with those do have the included 2.1 I think I said that right. It's the right variable refresh rate 2.1.
VR. You can use
VRR. So I hooked up that. Of course, the first thing I download there is actually Dirt 5, believe it or not. So I wanted to try it had just come to Game Pass, so I tried that, and that in 120 frames per second. So I talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
It's nice and
It's
smooth,
like
right?
a perfect racing game. It looks so fucking good. I couldn't believe it. I want to get you guys over to check this thing out. It's last Saturday night I had a friend of the show, Dale, here, and he's a big racing fan, so he obviously got a big kick out of it. And this is the first time I've actually used the new style controller with the grips on the end and all that kind of stuff. So I already liked the Xbox One controller, and they took it and made it even better. So just the small changes they made. I do keep bumping. Cesar, did you do this where you hit the share button? I bump into that all the time.
Oh, the new share button?
Yeah, the new one in the middle.
Yeah. I had difficulties where I kept hitting the old button, because I was like, I keep forgetting there's a share button on this generation.
That's the one I'm hitting. I'm hitting the share button.
Yeah, because you talking about this one right here? I'm actually keep hitting this one to like capture images, and I keep forgetting there's a fucking dedicated share button now, and I'm like.
And then, so if you tap it, it takes a picture. If you hold it, it'll take your 30-second clip. Yeah.
It's similar to like the PlayStation and Switch ones.
So
they're shared buttons.
So Dirt 5 looks good. I don't want to go through. I tested a bunch of stuff, so I don't want to just go through. This is what I did. This is what I did. I put Master Chief Collection on there. Obviously, we had our Saturday night Halo.
120 frames.
So multiplayer is not 120 frames per second. It's regular, which I'm playing a game for 2001. It is what it is. The campaigns.
There's no way. Yeah,
the campaigns are in the full 120 frames per second. It is unbelievable.
They're good, right? Yeah.
Unbelievable. Oh, I've played that opening to Halo so many times, and they did it with the anniversary build and with the original. And when you're just looking around, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It was one of those moments, man. I'm just like, and I played probably an hour of Halo 1. I played probably an hour of Halo 2 Anniversary, and I played probably an hour of Halo 3 just to like be in there and see it move around and stuff. And it was just like, I'm going to play through all these again, aren't I? I texted Cesar, I was like, we got to play that Gears 5 DLC. We got to play Halo 5. We got to knock these out now. So both of those look awesome. PlayStation 5, what did I try out on there? Oh, I got into the MLB 21 The Show tech test. So I fired this up. I'm like, let's go ahead and try this out while I have it. Atlanta's in there. I'm like, golden. I'm the Braves. Here we go. I go all the way through the screen, and it's Atlanta, and they're like red and blue, but the team is the Rattlers. And I'm like, I guess that's just something they assign you in case you're going to play online. But no, I launched the game, and first off, my gamer tag is all over the screen, like watermarked. Like, you can't stream this or copy this. It's everywhere. Even on the gameplay side, it's got my gamer tag, or whatever the Sony version is. Mm-hmm. And I'm playing as the Rattlers, and it's this bootleg ass looking red, white, and blue like Dairy Queen Little League uniform. I'm like, with no logo. Like, they just gave me Rattlers, but there's no snake or anything. It's just this plain ass. And then it's not even the Braves roster. It's just this like, I had a Braves pitcher, and then everybody else was just this rando conglomeration of baseball players. And then who am I playing? The Baltimore Orioles, like the legit with the logo and everything. I'm like, how does this happen? Who came up with this tech test?
Yeah, but where was the Baltimore Orioles ranked last year, man?
They're garbage. They're still garbage. And the team
let them have their moment.
And they only I had to play at Yankee Stadium, which looked really, really good, but I was kind of pissed I had to play at Yankee Stadium. The thing I text this to Cesar on the side. I should not have fucked around and played this tech test because it's a good ass game of baseball. And I was like, I might need to get the full version of this. This looks really, really good. So
Yeah, but when's the last time you actually bought a baseball game? You know, I mean, outside of the one they gave us for free, what, a year ago, 2 years ago?
I didn't even play that one. I rented 2017, the one with Ken Griffey Jr. on the front, because it had that old school mode where you could like move around in the batter's box and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I rented that from Redbox. Remember when Redbox had games?
Whoa, what was that?
They quit doing that like what, a year or two ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought when Mad Dash and try to buy them all.
Yeah, I bought Jedi Fallen Order from them for like $15, and now it's on everything for free just about. I tried that out. Did I play anything else on PS5? I played Borderlands on PS5.
You didn't do Destiny 2?
Nope, I didn't try Destiny 2 in the high frame rate. I've been looking through those lists trying to see what I can kind of try out for free and see what.
It's not many, because I think it's Borderlands, Destiny 2, the Neo Collection, Dirt 5.
Dirt 5 looks so good. There's way more games. I will say this. There's way more games for variable refresh rate for Xbox than there's for PlayStation.
Yeah. They Monster Boy, but they haven't done the update for it yet.
Right.
Did I already say Call of Duty Black Ops?
No, and I still want to borrow that from you if that offer's on the table just to try out. I want to see how it looks. I got to bring you something anyway. Monster Boy. It was a Monster Boy, not Devil's Dragon's Trap is the other one.
No, this one's not out yet because I think somebody had asked them if the update's live and they were like, no.
Oh, so they just announced it, but it's not live. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think some website said it's available, but it's not because there's no. Because you got to remember how PS5 does. They don't do things like Xbox where they have a separate trophy list. There's no trophy list for it yet, so it's still the PS4 one. So
I don't think we mentioned this, but Gran Turismo was bumped to next year, and I'm never usually a big Gran Turismo head, but I will fucking get that game to see on this set, man. Holy shit, I'm impressed. Even the sound coming from the OLED is great. Like the built-in speakers you get on a TV are usually trash. And it's not, I'm still not going to say it's better than a dedicated soundbar. Even my, like, Insignia 2.1 soundbar sounds better than this, but they're not trash, It's not like, oh, God, I have to have it. Oh, I tried out my Pulse headset for the first time I fired up Astrobot.
There you go.
Yep, I tried the spatial audio for the first time. In that game, I almost was kicking myself. Like, why didn't I play through this game the first time on this? It's just, God, that game is something special still. God bless Japan Studio. I hope they make games forever. I think that's all. We didn't get around to Cat Mario this week. None of our family, I don't think, could take the aggravation with each other. We did play, this has been 2 weeks ago, I forgot to mention it. The Halo crew, one Saturday, we actually played Left 4 Dead. We've been talking about it for a while, and we all fired up Left 4 Dead, and it was chaos.
Hell yeah.
2 of us have played it before. One of us more extensively than even me. Like last time I played, I had Cesar and Michael kind of leading me around. But it continues to be just like madness. Like, don't go near the witch. And then somebody walks near the witch. And then all hell breaks loose.
Accidentally shoot.
Yeah. The witch goes crazy.
There's always somebody in there just laying gunshot rounds as soon as they walk into a room. And they wonder why they get attacked.
Yeah, we always had that one friend. You'd be like, "Hey, don't go near the witch." The what? Where is she? And right up to her.
Like you can't hear her crying in the corner.
Yeah.
But we're working our way through that first scenario on Left 4 Dead 2 or Left 4 Dead, the first one, and having a good time with it. So like these multiplayer, like that Alien one hit me. I was like, hell yeah, check that out. I think that's it for me. I wasn't even going to talk that long about it, but video games for me. I might not play as much next week. Kind of tied up the next like 4 or 5 days, but so that might be kind of it for me for a little while. But what'd you guys play? Who's up next?
As you said, I completed the Cat Mario game. Beat that. 3D World. I went through. Got to, I think, is it World Dash?
Not Mario.
Castle Dash, Bowser, whatever that bullshit is. And got to the bonus. Now I'm in the bonus levels where it's they got the bullshit difficulty up to 10 with nonsense, which I think is looks like Star Road from Super Mario World.
Star Road was fair though. The stuff I've seen from this game is not. It's just bullshit.
That's like, well, because I finished it as well. Yeah, you get through the castle levels and then it goes to like the actual ending, which is it's like a carnival kind of deal. Is basically kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, because I mean, originally when you free all the fairies,
Mm-hmm.
you beat Bowser in his vehicle one. Then he recaptures all of them and he takes them up into the clouds. And then you have, like you said, there's like a carnival world. You do that one. That's the one where you get the soft ending. As you beat him in Bowser in his cat suit.
Mm-hmm.
Cat suit Bowser.
And then then you free the fairies and then you get the credits. Credits roll. At that point, I was done. Credits roll. That's my criteria for beat games.
Yep.
I'll beat Animal Crossing. I never played it since. I saw the credits roll and have not popped it back into my console.
I beat the game.
I beat the game. That's all that matters. I think I sent Richard a picture of it when I got a credits roll. I was done 60 hours. Yeah. KK Slider was singing to me, and I was like, nope, done with this shit. Nothing against Animal Crossing. It's just not for everybody. Outside of that, I think then you get into the fairies where they build a rocket, and then this is when you go into the bonus levels, like you said. And it's like World Star, and then it goes up into like World Mushroom. And I think it goes like the 4 additional levels afterwards. And I think I did messed around, did the first couple on the Star Road, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Yeah, I usually don't fuck too much with those.
I may stream it whenever I get my setup going, and just for aggravation's sake, therapy. People can watch me suffer along with it. I may do that just for craps and giggles. Outside of that, I prompted to go ahead and give Bowser's Fury a tryout.
Yes.
I sat there. I think I beat it in one sitting. I didn't take a break. It took me 5 hours. And I got all the shines for all the areas. There's 5 for each one. Each one has there's always, I think, 2 that are the same. Which is, blow up the box, the blocks from the giant, from Godslayer Bowser. Where you have to kind of like get him to blow up an area, and you get one from there, and then it's the coins, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one's the same for all of them? And then after that, there's some kind of variety where, depending on that area, where it could be, complete this or go to this area or, do this. It's some kind of task similar to what has always been done since, Mario 64. Yep. Or, so it's a short course. You get that shine. And then you have ones that are littered throughout the level where you have to ride is it Ness? What's that thing called?
Plessy.
Where you have to do like a speed
Plessy
one, run with it, and that works too. Or Kramer versus Kramer, or like you have to find cats and kittens littered around and reunite them. It's like little different stuff that are outside the normal realms of the levels. And it's like you said before, Brand. Each time you're setting a time limit where every time you beat Bowser, he comes back at some point. So you have there's not a time up there, but you can see in the background as the shell comes up, and when he's coming out. So you have
starts raining, and
certain amount of time to complete what task you're doing. You can, as soon as you get the shine, he'll either light the lighthouse and he'll take some damage and he'll go back to where he started, or it just adds an extra level of difficulty to it. So I got more stuff I played. I don't know if you want to add anything, if that's your game you played this week or not.
We finished that as well. I mean, we didn't get all 100 shines. I mean, we got to the 50 and beat Bowser, and both of us were pretty ready to just kind of move on. I'll probably at some point go back and finish getting those all 100. But yeah, you only have to have 50 to technically beat the game, and 100 to, because after you go through the credits, there's like a picture, but it's all obscured. And I'm guessing if you get all 100, you get to see the finished picture.
Yeah, and you get access to another part of one of the lighthouses you couldn't get to until you have to complete down there.
How many did you beat it with, Brant?
50. That's 50. All it takes.
That's how many did you get to?
I got them all.
You got them all? Oh.
Yeah. Well, because this game it scratched the itch for me. It was very similar, like I said before, like Mario 64. I never played Mario Sunshine, but I'm assuming it's probably the same thing where you have to do that type of puzzle list type things, or Mario Odyssey. I got that same vibe when I was playing Mario Odyssey, where I sat there and played that straight. So I was more akin to this version of it versus the old school one, which was like 3D World, which I'm kind of burned out on probably. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the hell out of 3D Land. It was great for what it was. Just there were some points in 3D World where I just felt like it just seemed to drag a little bit. I don't know. I'm tired of that formula just a little bit. You have to be in the mood for that. Versus where Bowser's Fury, I probably didn't have to be in the mood for it. I can just start playing it, and then well, yeah, this is my shit. This is my jam.
And wasn't it so good the way it flowed? I mean, you're not even broken up between like going to an overworld and picking which area you want to be in. You just fucking go. And like you said, I mean, if it were probably just me, but I mean we do other stuff, and since it was me and my son playing it, but if it were just me, I probably would have sat down and done it all in one sitting, because like you say, I mean, you start going, and then you're like in this part, and then you just go, and then all of a sudden you're in this part, and everything, there's no breakup. It just keeps going, and there's no like pause where you have to sit back and like, okay, where am I going next? Okay, how am I, pick this area over here and wait for it to load, and it's just boom, 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 boom.
You get into a groove. That's all it is. It's easy. You just go into the next area you need to, get the shine you need to, and then move on. And it's still interesting and different each time you get it. It's not like each shine has like they kind of change up the level a little bit outside of the two I mentioned that are the same every time.
Is that the way the next Mario game should go, you guys think?
I would imagine it's just kind of like their idea how they would get it. This is something we'll probably get on new hardware probably that we just kind of talked about. So
that's
something to expand on there.
The new Super Mario Path of Victory.
The new Path of Victory, yeah.
Yep.
I'm interested to see how they'll handle everything with this new hardware. I'm assuming it'd be similar to like the series systems in the PS5, where you get patches for when you need, and you're still playable on the old stuff, so they don't fracture the development or because I mean, you look at Nintendo, they never done it well. You look at what happened with the new 3DS or the DSi. We never really got anything.
They are literally the worst examples.
Yeah. Because they always got like, we got this new hardware, but we don't want to alienate the old ones, so we just stop. We don't develop anything for the new ones,
Because they come from an era of they wouldn't improve the hardware, they would pack something into it. When you at a time when you had Sega adding 32Xs and Sega CDs and such to extend the life of their hardware, they were developing
like Sonic and Knuckles,
or Sonic stacking your cartridges.
Hey
Nintendo,
man, they brought back Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 with Sonic and Knuckles, man.
It's true.
That was DLC, man.
It's DLC that you already bought before, years before.
On-card DLC.
But Nintendo, at that same time, they were packing their chips on there. You had Yoshi's Island and Donkey Kong Country, and you had Mega Man X3, and you had all these games with like proprietary chips in them that would not have run on that original hardware. So I wonder if there could be the chance of an inside-out improvement for things like that. But it seems like they're going to do it with the dock. I would just like to think the dock enhancement would be available to everyone. That's what's in my mind.
We'll see. I mean, they've gotten a lot better this generation,
especially
to developers and everything. So I think they'll probably turn out fine. So
especially with these rumors saying that the screen still runs at 720p. Like if it was some sort of bump, it would be like maybe. But I have no problem with the handheld resolution. The handheld has only run into like some performance issues sometimes, but even that's rare because I mostly play on handheld still. So, but
I don't.
But go ahead.
Yeah, it's like you said. I don't think it's and we can sit there and diverge into it, and till it gets announced. But it's like you said. I think everything's gonna be handled by the dock. I think your common neutrality ground is gonna be that handheld mode, because you're gonna have the same handheld mode across all three consoles or three versions. I mean, it makes sense to have the dock to boost the power. I mean, that's the only thing that's different. So.
And again, they're going to have the research to do that. So they're going to have this, they'll have 20% of the player base. It's like, we want a 4K resolution thing. And that option will be there for them.
Yeah.
And they'll have this better battery one for the 45% that play, docked battery or whatever, so. And then you'll have your strictly handhold. And then you have your strictly non-docked, purely handheld. I keep saying handhold. Handheld light player. So it seems like they're leaning more into that market research than ever before.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't want to diverge too much longer, but the other game I played on my Switch this week was put a couple hours in Bravely Default 2. I'm a known provider of buying Bravely Default and Bravely Second and trying both of them and never getting far with them.
How's this one?
This one is a lot easier, in my opinion. The biggest difference for me is it's going to be the ability to see enemies on screen. I think at certain points, I think what killed it for me in the original Bravely Default was not the random battles, and they were so difficult. So it's like you trying to do something, and then you getting caught into a battle, and then almost dying, and it kind of just throws you off of this rhythm that you got going. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm trying to complete this task. I know I got to grind at some point, but it doesn't let me do what I want to do when I want to do it. It seems like they took that feedback from. I didn't play the demo, so I can't describe the differences from the demo to this main version. Maybe somebody else can, because I never got a chance to play the demo.
There's a new demo. I'm assuming the new demo reflects the game now, right?
Right.
Okay. Because I downloaded the new demo to try.
I'm curious to see how, compared to the original project demo they had on there when they took the player feedback on there. From what I was reading online, they said they took a lot of that feedback and implemented in this final version, which is pretty cool. This game is, instead of doing the 2D to HD, which they've done in Octopath, this one is more of like a claymation one. The king in this game looks like the fucking king from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Every time I look at him, about to say Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah, every time I see him, I always see the arms like this. It looks just like him. But it gives that whole claymation vibe, and they have a name for it. I forgot what it was, but it's it has clay in there, where that's the look that we're going for.
Right.
So if you never played a Bravely Default game before, that Bravely Default is you have the ability to I think it's called Brave Points or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
You delay actions to build up some sort of attribute point, right?
So it's based off an ATB bar. So you, depending if you do a early attack, you'll get an additional point up front. So if you do, you can. The difference from this one is you can see all the enemies on screen. There's no random battles. Sorry, I got an email from work. That was weird. You can see your enemies, and you can also do the press square to do the attack, and square press X to do the attack, and start an early battle. And so if you do the early battle, you get additional brave point. So what it is, a brave point is that you can borrow against yourself. So like you get one brave point when you start the battle automatically. You can use one to do your regular attacks. You can build up on them if you hit defend and kind of build them up to like I think 3 or 4, and then you can do multiple attacks back to back to back to back. And so it's a gamble. So at some point, certain battles is like for me, if I get down to one enemy left and I have a team of 4, I'll sit there and just go ahead and gamble brave points and get in the negatives. So it's like you can borrow against something you don't have, but you're gonna have to wait that amount of turns to build it back up to 0 before you get your turn again. So like if I'm getting close to the end of a battle, I can sit there and gamble with it and like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and use up 4 of them, get 3 in the red. And because I know I'm going to finish this guy off. Because I know each hit takes off 100 HP. He has 400 HP. If I do 4 attacks, I'll finish him off. So it's like it lets you play in variety depending on there. It's not too difficult when it comes to the regular enemies because it's typically when you see them on screen, they'll come at you if you're not strong enough. And if you're the right level or you're stronger than they are, they'll run away from you. At that point, okay, I'm leveled up enough to continue where I'm at. That's how I can tell when I'm in a dungeon, like they're running away from me.
That makes random encounters better.
They run away from me, and it gives me the choice of not having to hunt them down. At that point, I know I'm level enough. The only difficulty I had on there is when you get to the boss battles, is they're pretty difficult. They're lengthy. They have a high amount of HP, and they do a lot of damage. So that is the part of the game where it requires you to use a lot of your gaming RPG intelligence right there to just kind of like actually do a tactical battle, to survive.
Is it like fire versus ice, water, plant, that kind of thing?
The first villains in that game, you play a princess from a country that is no longer around, and she's kind of like in solitude in this other kingdom. The names escape me right now. This always happens when I talk about stuff. She's a purveyor of the Wind Crystal. The Wind Crystal led her to lead you to find the main character of this game, which you can name to anybody you have. Whatever reason it chose Seth for me, I kept that way because I'm not creative when it comes to names like that. I was like, cool, your name's Seth. Apparently the Wind Crystal told her he was there, he was saved. He has, later on you find out he's recognized as one of the 4 heroes. She's trying to get the rest of the crystals, and she's getting like little leads of like, there's a kingdom of sand with an abundance of water flooding the place. So she thinks that the water crystal's over there. So that's the next place you're going to. You come across a enemy called Dag and Celine, who try to get the Wind Crystal and they kidnap her. So Seth meets up with a team of a scholar. The names escape me, and I apologize. A scholar and a mercenary that's kind of working with that scholar, and they're looking for asterisks. Now, asterisk gives you the ability to change jobs in the game. So he comes with 2 asterisks, so you can change 2 jobs, which the only 2 you get at the beginning of the game, which is a black magic and a freelance. After that, they join your crew as you try to rescue the princess. That's where your powers. He can use different powers based off the different crystals. He figured all that out. I'm not going to go into details about it because if you want to play, you'll find out more in the story. I don't want to go too much details about it. He's the guy that joins you. He's in there for the asterisks that gives you the ability to change jobs. So the first boss battle, you have Dag, who is a vanguard, who is mostly a ability to prioritize defense. They draw in attacks to their team to keep the focus off the rest of your team members. And Celine is a white mage. So as you go through, you have like an old knight that's on your team, and he's the one that's kind of carrying your party. He's kind of like helping you go through this first boss battle because he's a way higher level. He's AI controlled. You don't control him, and his attack does high damage. He's the one that's keeping me alive. He's giving you healing items and all that kind of stuff. He's kind of like holding your hand through this first boss battle.
Right.
And trust me, I've died many a times in that first boss battle.
Damn.
Like I didn't lose, but I had characters that died and got dropped, and he just brought them back with a Phoenix down that I didn't have. He was there to get you through it, to see how it is. Those battles are difficult.
Can you keep him in your party the rest of the game?
I don't think I'm getting an indicator he will not be there for long, probably. He's an older gentleman.
Go ahead and romance him. Go ahead and romance him. Add him to the party.
Sure. I'll have Seth start his laying the groundwork down. Age ain't nothing but a number. So dude's an older gentleman, so let's put it that way.
And a Phoenix down gets everything up.
Hey, there we go. This is so as you go through, and I think I've beaten this as the first 2 hours. You rescue the princess in the first dungeon. You get the wind crystal, and I think that's where I stopped. Now I'm at the point where we got the asterisks. I'm able to change to a white mage. I'm also able to change to the vanguard now. Since I beat them, I've kind of took their asterisks from them and took their job abilities from them. The job abilities, you can have the main job, which is I think Seth is a freelancer, and I took the black mage as a sub job. Now, when you do the sub job, you can only choose one attribute from that sub job. So, like, out of all those black mage spells you can cast on there, you can only choose one as your sub. So I could choose fire and add it in part of my repertoire, but I can only do one. I can't do the whole black mage list that a black mage would get access to if it was his main job. The freelance one is like on-field stuff like botany and, get extra items or get extra money. It's like those little random attributes you get as you progress in the game. It's just a freelance. It's like a jack of all trades type of thing, but it's nothing cool where it's a guy who can. It's not like a red mage or something like that where he gets a little bit of everything, or the bullshit version of X Death or whatever. Outside of that, I mean, you only get those two jobs from this point, main and your sub. You can change them at any point, and as you go through those ability lists, you'll get job points as you go into battles, and as you get job points, you'll unlock more abilities, and you get to lock those abilities. You can assign them to your repertoire to do attacks. So this game is definitely akin to more of a new school as well as old school. So it has like that old school feel of like those NES Final Fantasy games where you build up abilities and all that jazz in there. But it does have that new school where the battles are ATBs, kind of like similar to the Super Nintendo or the PlayStation versions of Final Fantasies. It's kind of like what Bravely Default was. It's like a love letter to those games from the past. It's a bit of a mix up. But the biggest thing is going to be those break points where you kind of like bet on yourself, where you can kind of manipulate, you can defend, build them up, or you can use them if you don't have them. It depends on what you want to do with it. So that's all I have to add on Bravely Default too.
Sounds good.
It ain't bad. I'm going through it.
The demo.
You should see if you like it. I think the save data carries over, if I'm not mistaken. That's everything I played on the Switch. I'm just going to fire rapid because we'll be here forever. And I want to keep you rating, and we got Brandon to talk about shit too. I finished up Ys 9 on PS5 last week, as I said the very next day. I enjoyed the hell out of it, man. It was pretty good. It got through. It had the little bow tie happy ending at the very end, in which most adult adventures typically have, where they're able to cure the curse of the Monstroms and finish the Monstrum Nox, where they are not needed to cleanse those demons from that world. The main villain in that game kind of had like a change of heart because originally he was using Adol's memories from the previous games, the first 8 Ys games, and created like a god version of that character where he was going to use that character to kill all those monsters in that world. He was trying to buy his former teammates the freedom of not having to do that. So it was like kind of like he's bad but not bad. It's just the way he was doing it was bad, but he was like had good intentions type of thing.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, I'm not going to go into details. It ends up where, Adol saves the day and then he just moves on to his next adventure, whatever the next one is. It says we continue on the 10th book, whatever that's going to be.
That's the one you're hoping doesn't look like a PS2 game, right?
They got this new engine that they got for Legend of Heroes. I imagine they'll probably use that one. Outside of that, I finished up Control, beat the DLC on that one. I went through the Alan Wake, which you meet Alan Wake, you see those flashbacks of him. But after you beat it, you get the indicator that Bright Falls that you're getting a message like a indicator from a altered world event from the future, and that's where it kind of ends off. It's like it hasn't happened yet, but it's like a beacon that's going off. So I'm assuming it's probably going to leak to him. There was another DLC that came with it that I didn't play originally from the season pass, and I played it in this one. I ended up getting the platinum on this game too.
Nice.
Called the Foundation, which was there's a like the board, which is kind of like on the astral plane. This is kind of like their backstory. So there was a part in that game where Marshall, one of the main characters that was on your sector for your security team, not the security team, but it was like I forgot which team she supported. She kind of like went off and did her own thing, and this kind of like told her story where she never came back. She actually died trying to stop the hiss from crossing over in the astral plane. It gives you another ability where you can manipulate certain rocks off the walls to add the depth to, like, if you have higher areas where you can't jump to, you can pull those rocks to kind of do some more platforming. And then it gives you a gun ability where you can kind of shoot those things. It adds a different variety to the gameplay. The enemies in that one's a lot fucking harder. That one, if I had hair, I would tear it down on that one. Because I had more difficulty in those battles.
That would have broke you.
That would have done it for me, yep. I would have found a corner and cried in the bathtub as the shower was running. Outside of that, you get the idea that the board, the one that hands her the gun and gives her the powers, is not probably a board full of good guys, because they were kind of like trying to jerk her all over the place and manipulate her, and she kind of sees through it, and she's like, it kind of like sets up more of that game universe, like, all right, this might be something that they'll kind of deal with it, and she's aware of it, and she's like, I don't know if I should trust them fully, but right now that it is what it is. I'm just not going to rock the boat right now. Outside of that, I played a game called Game Tengoku Cruise and Mix. You ever heard of it?
Heard of a game?
It's a game Tengoku, I think it's Japanese for Paradise Cruise and Mix. It is an old Sega Saturn game from Jellico.
Like Cruisin' Exotica and all that?
Absolutely not.
Okay, go on.
It's a shoot 'em up that takes place inside of an arcade. You are what the story behind this is, like, you're a bunch of different characters from different shoot 'em ups. Like, there's a obvious rip of famous ones, like the Riding Project. There's one that's a plane. There's one that's a rip of 1942. It's like the popular ones that are in a generic arcade that would happen to be in there. You have some kind of perverted scientist who, I don't know what his motivation is in there. You can tell he's a pervert.
We know what his motivation is if he's a pervert.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into details. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish.
You don't have to.
Outside of that, what's unique to this game, and this game came out on Sega Saturn. It was one of those ones where it was really risque for one of their like strip mahjong type game stuff that came back in the day. Like stuff that Sega would only do back in the day when it was like in the early 90s. They would only touch these type of games.
Right.
What makes it different for this game is, like, you go through different arcades that are like throwbacks to different shoot 'em ups. Like, there's one that's very clearly that imitates Space Invaders, or those old 8-bit ones, and you'll see like a little switch up top that goes from 8-bit to 32-bit, 8-bit to 32-bit, and it kind of changes the character outlooks as you go through and you shoot them up. And it's like you're just shooting them up in this arcade. Like, there's one that you end up going to a claw vending machine where you have the final boss is some kind of cat girl with a bell ring on there, and you have to shoot the bell ring to beat her. There's another one that is clearly like a racing game that looks like Daytona USA, as you have to shoot race cars and they spin out in the road. So, I mean, each level is different, and it's like some kind of nod to some kind of type of arcade game. I think that the gimmick on there is when I beat it, it made me loop and play it again. Which I thought was weird. So I beat him again, and he comes up on the screen. He's like, I got your ass now, basically. He's like, now you got to go through it all again. And I went through it again, and then that's when the owner of the arcade, the girl's just like, nope, not this time. She just unplugs the machine. That's the real ending. Which was pretty good. So, like, it's enjoyable.
That's awesome.
It's like each go through takes about 15 minutes. It's something that I'll fire up if I beat a game and I don't want to get into something immediately.
Palette
that one, yeah, basically. That one, it has a standard original Sega Saturn version as well as a HD remaster type thing where it's like an arrange mode, which everybody's famous for doing nowadays, where you can kind of do unlimited continues, and it's not the old, it's more of a user friendly experience versus
Right.
back in the old days you get 2 lives, that's it, you suck, get good.
Put another quarter in.
Outside of that, I'm not going to spend too much time on that one. The last thing I'm going to talk about is I'm still on my Nihon Falcon kick. I popped in E's Origin, and I beat that. That took me. This takes place before E's 1 and 2. This came out 25 years after the first game, and somehow is a prequel to the first game. I think you could play as 3 characters. You only get 2 from the beginning of the game. That's why it's not as long. Each character takes about maybe 9 hours. You go up this tower, and it tells the story of Ys. So in the first Ys, you have the goddesses, the twin goddesses, and the Black Pearl. Not the Black Pearl from the Pirates of the Caribbean, but you have heard of me. But you have heard of me. Outside of that, I mean, it's a magical item that has given prosperity to Ys, and for whatever reason, it's like you got to give and take. It also gives off a demonic essence. And that essence summons demons to Ys, and they have a Solomon shrine, which they rise from the earth and fold it from the surface as they abandon Ys, as the demons take over. And the demons, they erect a giant tower trying to reach the Solomon shrine to get after them. Damn. So the basis of this game is that the twin goddesses, they mysteriously disappear from the Solomon shrine. And you play these characters, Unica Tova, which is a knight, a magic knight. And then you have Hugo Fact, which is a sorcerer. The two main, these are 2 different classes. They've come down to try to locate the goddesses and find them and bring them back. As you go through, it all takes place in that one tower. This is very, what it really got it for me is that this is old school. The story is similar to like Super Nintendo. It's not a huge storytelling. It's like it's up front. You save the goddesses, or you get to the ending. It's already pretty much set in stone because this takes place after Ys 1 and 2, which is kind of like leads up to this. This game takes place 700 years before Ys 1 and 2. As you go through, what really scratched it for me was that as you go through the tower, this plays like, it doesn't play like a Diablo game, but it maybe plays like a cousin of a Diablo game, where I think you have Ys Origin for the Switch, if I remember correctly, Richard. Mm-hmm. You can probably try it out. You go up this tower, different floors. Each character, Unica, is mostly combat based. That's going to be your fighter one. She uses an axe. She doesn't have the ability to use magic. She was born without it. She can get magical artifacts, which has like wind, electricity, and fire. That kind of helps her give those attributes, but those are limited to a bar, and you can't spam them. You have to wait for that to kind of refill. So most of hers is going to be physical-based attacks. As you beat different monsters at different floors, they give you different loot. Each loot gives you the ability to level up different skills, skill points. As you get through the skill points give you the abilities to get longer magic attacks, refill your magic bar quickly, different attributes in the game that you kind of save up to purchase those. But it's like I said, it's not like Diablo, but it's probably like a cousin of it, where you go through and you're just picking up, you're killing monsters, you're picking up shit. Killing monsters, picking up shit. It's that whole, the gameplay clicks. It clicks. You don't really get loot in there. You don't get like, oh, I get this piece of armor, because those are hidden in treasure chests and they're static, and they're always going to be there. But that satisfaction of beating monsters and just picking up skill points, picking up skill points, and you get in that loop like, okay, it's old school like Diablo, where you get it to a boss. So like say the first boss, you have to be level 10. If you're anything under it, you're gonna get slaughtered. You have to be at level 10. I mean, it's not like a Dark Souls or Demon Souls where like, okay, I can come under this underpowered. If I play it a certain way, I'm surviving. You can get fucked. I mean, you're gonna get tore up. You can't. You have to be at that level to progress. Yeah. If you don't, it makes it way harder. I mean, I guess you could, but it's just gonna make it way harder, and it's more frustrating at that point. So like as you go through, each boss, it's usually in increments of 10, 10, 20. I think the max level is 60 as you go through the tower. So as you go through the tower, you have these these people that came from outside of Ys that are trying to use these demons to get that Black Pearl, the Pearl. And
part of the ship, part of the crew.
To use its powers for the demonic essence, basically. So you have this guy called Dallas, who's got these group of people under him who's trying to get the Black Pearl. He's like half demon to become a full-fledged demon, basically. So as you go through the tower, you run into like Unica's backstory, where her father stayed behind on the Ease when they all went to Solomon's Shrine. The guy who murdered her father's there. She finds her father's sword. She's able to talk to her father, and he left his parting words, like basically like Ben Kenobi style, Star Wars. It's kind of, he comes up like a ghost and tells her like, da da da, do this, do that, be the person you need to be. Type of words of encouragement. And she loses her childhood friend. Like they all have these little structured things that happen in the story that kind of build them up. Like Hugo Fact has what he called the Eyes of Fact. He's magic base. He's not, where Unica's more of a like a fighter base. He's more of a magic one where he shoots beams. But he works better at a distance. So you get close up, you're gonna get messed up. He has a brother, I think an older brother that's running around that's working with the demons in that tower, and he's trying to figure out why did he do that. So like you have that story going on,
Nice.
and then and it's Toval Fact, and then Toval. And what's weird is like Toval's the third character you unlock after you beat it. You have to beat this game twice with both those characters, and then you get Toval, the final character. He's the one that's actually the fucking canon of the story. This is the real story that happens that leads into Ease 2, because Toval is in Ease 1 and 2. So you have to like kind of play his story for the third time to kind of like get the actual true story, because they kind of like tailor the stories a little bit to depending on the characters, and they're still good, but they're not canon. His is the canon one, because you find out that the goddesses used their powers to stop the demonic essence of the tower. They lost their wings. They became turned to stone, and they get buried underground. And that's where Adol finds them in the first game. So he awakens them from the underground when he needs to get the access to the Black Pearl. And so the way that Ease 1 and 2 works is like, back in the day when we had Ease 1 was a master, Ease 1 was a Master System game. So Ease 1 and 2 is one game. They call it 1 and 2, but it's the same story. So it was like it's continued in Ease 2.
Right.
So once you beat Ease 1. So this is kind of like, these three games kind of like tell like the first trilogy from that series. So that's it. Thank you for attending my long ass TED talk about video games this week.
Hour 45 minutes. Brant, bring us home.
I'm sure I was an hour with that. I apologize. That's not a stretch.
I picked up my Vita.
Yes.
In order to just kind of have something to play a couple games in between waiting for the family to get ready for us to go a couple places over the weekend. And the first thing I just picked up and played really some PS1 titles.
Ooh.
So of course I booted up Crash Bandicoot and got through Hog Wild before it was time to go.
That's about time to finish. Yep. Quit after that.
I love Hog Wild. It's probably my favorite level.
Oh yeah. Once you learn the layout of it, it's got some bullshit parts to it.
Oh, it takes me like maybe if I have them every now and then I'll have a misstep, but usually it takes me 1, maybe 2 tries to get through the whole level, because I've played that so many damn times. And then the other one, I didn't get to play too much of it. I only played the first couple levels, but after hearing the Japan studio news, I had to fire up Ape Escape.
Awesome game.
And yeah, I got to play the first couple levels of that.
How is not to derail yours, Brand? I have the original Ape Escape. How is the PSP one? I know it's lacking that second analog stick. Is it a playable build of that? Is it decent?
You can map the second analog stick.
That's what I have. That's what I'm using on my Vita. Is I actually bought the Ape Escape, Ape on the Loose is the Vita, or is the PSP version. But automatically on the Vita, it'll map it.
Oh, nice.
Map that second analog stick. So yeah, you press up and it'll automatically go to the the viewing mode and all that. So it's pretty intuitive.
Not playing with the claw.
Yeah, because on the original PSP with just the one, it was a little awkward, but via Vita, it's second nature. You don't even think about it. And then we finished up Super Mario 3D, like we said, and Bowser's Fury. After that, my son was like, well, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do? I'm like, you know what? I've got an idea. I think you're mature enough, and I think you can play this. It's very fitting that Cesar is wearing a Uncharted 3 shirt, because I started him on Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection. It's first time. it's the first one. He's first time he's ever played any of these games. Booted it up, and he was, I could tell he was kind of having a little bit of trouble with the controls and getting used to the whole cover and shoot and all this. And so at one part he kept dying a couple times. I said, oh, you know what, just give me the controller real quick, watch me do this. And I mean, when I started, I was like, okay, hold up. I was like, I pretty much can tell what the problem is. The stick control for like the aiming, it was too tight. I had to boost up the sensitivity a little bit, and once I got it dialed, tightened up the graphics. Once I dialed in that the aiming, and just kind of ran through and killed a couple, cleared like a little area of the enemies, I handed him back the controller. He started playing, and then he finally it just clicked. He started getting to the groove. He goes, it's he's like that. Yeah, what it works now. He's like, I get it.
That's awesome. How does that hold up? Are you watching him play? It holds up.
Yeah,
right?
We're sitting there, we're watching him. Oh gosh. And I had to warn him, like, there is a little bit of a jank with the platforming and stuff like that. Sometimes it can be a little unforgiving.
You play the bongos as you die.
He's falling down.
Nay!
But we got through.
That's not how it went.
Oh no!
Oh
no,
my
no,
gosh! No. But we got through. I think he's in like chapter 6 or 7. So we've gone through.
Did he get to Eddie? Was he thinking Eddie?
He hasn't gotten to Eddie yet.
Oh, Eddie.
We got through the U-boat and Sully getting shot, and then us running into Elena, and then we got to the part where we were flying in the plane and the plane got shot down, and now we're in the jungle and we just
back in the jungle.
We saw where Elena had landed, and so we're in that kind of the ruins of that like city, platforming and running away from the guys, on the turret and stuff. But he's seems to be enjoying that quite a bit. So hopefully we can at least run through the first game, and he might want to run through the second, because
I'll be more excited for him to play the second one.
Yeah, it's between the second and the fourth are my favorites in that series.
2 has such a slow start, though.
It does, but it's such a good game.
You're in it for the long haul.
That was my first platinum on PS3.
Nice.
Was Among Thieves. I played the hell out of that game.
It's a lot of blood is a lot of my blood.
And then, other than that, I continued on Resident Evil 7.
You beat the game?
Not yet.
Damn it.
So that's our list to discuss.
I'm holding back because I don't know if Richard's ever going to play it, and I don't know, listeners and everything. But when I got to the main hall in that house, where there's the dog head puzzle and there's the shotgun
service
with the trap room where if you remove the shotgun it closes you in. So I went ahead, went upstairs and started exploring a little bit. Ahead of myself, went into the bathroom, and found one of the dog heads, pulled the plug, and then that fucker that you thought might have been dead, he's not dead. And I was like, I pretty much called this. And then he starts following you around the house, which is cool. He's busting through walls and stuff. I'm like, oh god. But I had to outrun him. Made it back upstairs. You find that tape that says Mia on it. You pop it in, and you play a little bit of the game as Mia, where you're running away from the creepy old lady. She's chasing you around this old lake house kind of thing, and you're trying to outrun her. And then
Damn it, Richard, that's a good ass game, man.
It's
Hey,
so
remember,
good.
y'all can always do a disclaimer, and I pull out headphones, and then you just both give me a thumbs up when you're tired of discussing it.
No, it's okay. I'm
No, I'm
trying.
talking about playing it. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about it, just playing it. That's a
I'll
good
add
ass
it to
game.
my list.
It's really good. And dude, I mean the
It's on
way
Game Pass. There's a way for you to play for free.
Yeah. The way it just builds suspense and everything and keeps you on the edge. It's so damn good. The atmosphere in that game is great. So
I'm so
after
mad that
you
it took me that long to beat it.
after you watch that tape, gosh, I'm trying to remember what happens after that. Where did I go?
Is it a hard game? I quit seemingly.
No,
difficult
I'm playing
games.
it. I'm playing it on easy because you can choose easy, medium, hard. And I'm not proud. You know, I'm not like, well, I have to play it on normal or I have to play it on hard. I'm like, I just want to play it. I want to experience it. It's a good game.
It's not. I think it tells you on there like Sester's playing it like a loser on easy mode or something like that. It tells you and as you're playing the game like blah 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 easy mode, it'll tell you out there like your friends like, oh look, somebody can't play Resident Evil 7 Plays easy. I think
I want to play it and yeah.
I think it's funny because it's like for whatever reason they broadcast it on your PlayStation account when it does it. It's like it tells you what version you're playing. I'm like, I was like, hey. I looked. I was like, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Playing it like a loser.
But so, and while he's following you around, you can like shoot him in the head a little bit and get him down. But after a while, you'll hear him get back up and start walking around. You can hear him walking around the house. So you really got to be careful.
At that point, Brent, and I don't want to go too much detail. But that is really the most annoying part of the game, because he is consistent, and when you figure out like you have to that first part of the house is like you said, and you have to get those 3 plates for the dog heads, and there's there are ones at different locations. They're all puzzle based. I'm not going to say what they are because I think you're still working on them.
No, I got it.
You got them all? Yeah, because like one's in a grandfather clock, and another one's in the grandmother's room, I believe, and what was the other one? I think it was
one's in the tub. One's in the tub.
One was after the first boss battle,
and then
right?
and then the last one is, you go, and that's what happened. You go to this other part of the house and you see the same like weird, almost like decaying plant root crap. It's like this weird gooey black veiny
the mold. They call them the mold. Yeah, when you get the lore with the little things out, they call them mold creatures. Mold. And
as you're trying to walk through, this thing, it comes alive and comes off the wall. And so the next part of the game is you have to go into this basement section and try and find the dissection room or the surgery room or something like this. And this whole area is taken by these. Yeah. You can kill them. They take like 3, maybe 4 shots to the head, just depending.
How do you feel about that old lady? She just keeps popping up, huh?
Gosh. And so
it's funny because like she pops up, and as you walk around the room, she kind of like turns her head and looks at you, and I'm like, stop watching me. Let me do my thing.
Head, like I don't like her at all. Sitting in that chair, she's
I'm
she's
sorry,
not Brent.
How far did you get, man? You got past the first house?
So yeah, you get that last dog head, and Daddy pops up again, and you have your big encounter with him, which is a pretty crazy fight. And maybe he's dead now. I mean, I don't know the rules of the game. I thought he was dead the first time, but figured he'd pop back up, and he did. So who knows? Anything can happen. It's Resident Evil, baby.
You know how many times Wesker supposedly died? Come on.
I know, right? So I got all 3 heads. Got out of the main house. I'm now in the yard. And then found out that you have to go try now to find this, what they call the serum, and it's there's somebody that keeps calling you on the phone, and her name's Zoe, and she says both Mia and her have been infected with this this thing that and they need this serum that can cure them, and then they can escape. And
remember the beginning of the game, she's like, you didn't eat the food, did you? And remember that's how they do it with the food. You didn't eat the food, did you?
Like basically, you get a happy fairy tale ending if you just get the serum, but nobody knows where it is. But she gives you a hint to go find the, I guess, the mother, because it's this weird, creepy family that you're surrounded by. So I'm going. I got into this lake house. This lake house is infested with giant, crazy swarms of bugs. Just these mutant giant bugs. I'm going through. I've got what is, I guess, going to be a flamethrower, but it's missing a few pieces. And then I upgraded my capacity and got to that save room. So next, I guess I'm going to have to go around the house and probably find Mother and try and save Mia, because that tape I was talking about earlier was the last time we saw Mia, and she got, I guess, recaptured there.
Yeah, you enjoy this, Richard. All your upgrades are level 3 backpacks from
Oh, nice.
PUBG. So every time you get a new inventory slot, you're like, oh, there's a backpack. Yeah, level 3.
Yeah, backpack.
Now I can hold more stuff. It's better than me playing Russian roulette with I need to carry. Like, I got to go back and get the stupid spider key. I was like, or the crow key or something like that.
Yeah.
And I go all the way back down to the chest again and sit there and play like, do I need the herb to heal myself, or can I just make it
You're
to that area?
sacrificing like ammo versus healing items.
Yeah, that's only the BS stuff. Well done, Brent. You are literally maybe an hour away from beating that area.
Really?
That game is broken into 4 main sections.
That's our time or Michael time? Remember Michael time?
Those sections are broken into 4 different parts of the 3 different parts of the house, and then you have the ending game, which kind of like I won't go into details about what it is, because I'll let you get surprised as you go through it. That last part is like 2 sections. So, but yeah, well done, sir. You probably got you're about halfway through that game, a little bit over halfway.
Wow, cool.
Yeah,
I'm having fun. I mean, as much as you can having a horror game. I mean, it's a special kind of fun.
It's good, man. It's really fucking good. I'm like Richard. I got turned off in the beginning. It was like annoying.
Should I play it not in VR? I got sick in VR. Should I play it in not?
Don't
in VR?
play it in VR.
No VR. If you want to enjoy the story, you can knock it down to easy. It will become less Resident Evils. You'll have capacity to get more ammo. Because I mean, you get more components to build more bullets. You'll get the chemical fluids and the gunpowders. You can mix shit, and there seems to be ample amount of healing herbs floating around. I do recommend there's a narcotic or Sudafed, as I like to call it, in there that you take that highlights items. I usually pop that, and that way I take a look around the field.
It's called.
It's a psychotic thing or something like that. You have to mix it with a chemical bag with something else, but it highlights all the items in your area where you can pick shit up that's lying around that's hidden. That's like, oh, I didn't know there's some bullshit over here.
Like
you know,
the
you
Batman investigative thing.
Basically,
Kinda,
I usually pop those pills in the game, not in real life, and just run around and I gotta clarify because people clip stuff and put it in the area. So he pops pills. Your character does that, and you basically have a short time period where you just got to run around and look for items, and that's when I just started gunning it for everything. So I don't want to keep talking. As Richard said, it's Brent time, not Sester time.
Oh, that's it. I'm good. That's games played.
He's out. All right. Did any more news break as we were podcasting together?
I don't know.
2 hours in.
There's a message from LinkedIn asking me if I know somebody. That's what I get from
Of course, never do that again. Thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
Adios.
See you.